recording.
Dang,
Look at us record.
So I believe the lore accurate where we left off last time was Aulen running towards Riley, running down the
yes, I think
pathways.
I think you're right. Carrying the corpse, right? You were carrying Dew and running off towards Riley. Yeah.
Yep.
So what's give me like the spark notes, but you've also had a little to drink.
Do Bumblefoot. We freed Do Bumblefoot, but Do Bumblefoot is dead.
Okay.
Yep.
We survived and we failed.
That's why they had a little to drink before they gave you the recap.
That sounds
Mission
about
failed
like,
successfully.
I wouldn't say we failed.
I don't know. That sounds like
How
my
would
life.
you define it as a success?
Spoken like a true necromancer.
I mean, like, our mission was successful.
No, the mission was to rescue Do Bumblefoot, not to collect the corpse.
We didn't know she was dead when we started the mission.
What's that corpse's name?
Do Bumblefoot.
And are they imprisoned anymore?
No.
Would you consider the corpse free of shacklement?
Shacklement.
Then I believe we have completed our mission.
Ernest Shacklement was the captain of the ship that got wrecked in the Arctic.
So,
Wow. Was he?
Josh,
The
Never mind.
Shackleman is Jebediah Peppermint's favorite comic from the land of
Josh is me. You got me. What's up?
we talked about something, and is that what happened to Riley before the last stream?
When? When did we talk about it?
We talked about it before last stream. Like, how do we? How do we?
Yes. Riley stayed behind to fight the undead. Remember? So you were at like a
Right.
tunnel that led to Nowood. There were a bunch of undead corpses. So everyone starts off doing a cool fight, but in the end, Riley stays behind, and the Tinkali stayed with her to take care of the undead. So they basically like forced a path through and told everyone like, "Go on, we'll stop these. This mook swarm."
Okay.
And Riley and the Tinkali stayed back to fight. So this session, we're just reconnecting the group post that fight.
All right. Do you want me to like take some spell slots or something? I believe my plan was to deal with them. Actually, is just a clerical thing, but
You were just going to turn undead, right?
yeah.
Yeah, just
That is
just do that.
Okay.
Turn Undead's not a spell slot. That's
That's a
No, it's
class
not.
feature, right?
Called
Yeah, it's a
divine intervention.
divine-
No.
It's a feature.
Yeah,
What's
that's
that
right.
thing
It's a
called?
feature, not a bug. So
I'd have to pull up the wording.
Channel Divinity.
There we go. Yes.
a
Brought to you by 5e Tools/classes.
That's where I was going. I just
.html. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always keep a browser open with 5e Tools and my monk class and my subclass picked, so I can just like
Yep, I do the same
scroll
thing.
through and see what's what. It's super hander.
Super hander.
Super hander. That's my superhero name.
That's a good one.
It is 9 till, so I'm going to grab some ice in my
Yep.
mug.
I'm gonna go live
And
to
put some water in
the
it.
loading screens in a second here. I'm just getting my stuff set back up after the restart.
Channel Divinity I can use twice at this level.
Bow, 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 no, no. Doo-doom, doom, doom, doom. Sorry, I have a song stuck in my head from a video I edited.
That's okay.
It's
These
not
things they happen.
okay. It's
It
not.
is funny scrolling through art lists trying to find tracks for certain things, and often I'll like listen to something and be like, "Oh, I know Josh has used that for a thing. Oh, I know Reliance used that for a thing." And you just kind of keep scrolling.
It's getting harder and harder to find songs I haven't vetted already on Artlist.
Yeah.
I actually just bought another service to like add on top of it. I bought MusicBed for a year.
Yep.
And I'm gonna try and go to MusicBed first for the next year to let Artlist catch up with like
Yeah.
new music.
Music Bed is pretty popular right now.
Man, their songs with lyrics are killer. Like all their artists are really, really talented. So when I need something where the lyrics matter too, I'm like, that's where I go.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm going live to the loading screens.
New battle song.
Are you saying
I'm
we're live
just
right
kidding.
now?
Anywhere else I'd
Oh.
be a 10.
Is by the way,
Did
I
you
wanted
watch
to ask-
Barbie?
did.
Wash. What did you think?
I have thoughts and feelings about it. It was super fun.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really fun.
Nice.
I wanted to ask a question. I know the stream probably can't see it right now, but like, how's the camera angle and the lighting right now?
Looks
to
good.
me. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're a little Dutch. The floorboard is up at a weird angle. So you need to turn
so
your
you're saying
entire
I
setup
should-
like 45 degrees to the right.
Here, wait, I got you. Oh, wait.
Oh, no, you went the other way. Now it's double Dutch.
Now it's double Dutch.
No,
I don't
Wash
know.
is kidding this entire
Wash was just
time.
memeing with
No,
you. You were right to start with.
Guys, this is the bit. Like I was yes anding.
Yeah, but Wash
You have
is
to shut it
Dutch.
down.
Wash is Dutch.
am
Wash is
yes-anding.
so Dutch.
I wanted the yes and.
Right, here we go.
Just trying it.
Josh, does this fix it?
Yeah, that's so much better. Wow. Love it.
I don't know. I kind of liked the
Artistic
Dutch angle
flair.
here.
Yeah, that's fine. Now
Yeah,
you and Wash
you
look
should
like you're
use the
falling
little
towards
shadow.
each other for an anime meet cute.
Use the shadow and turn that one straight.
You're like gonna, you gotta trip into
Turn
each
the
other and
shadow
drop all your
straight?
papers or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably Wash will like spill a little paint can,
Okay,
like,
okay, I got
a little
you.
paint bottle. That's your meet
Nani?
cute.
There you go. Now you're not Dutch mountain time.
Yeah,
What?
Dutch mountain.
I believe you.
Well, this was fascinating.
Yeah, especially because it's a bit that the stream cannot
Chat
see.
wants us to turn on the camera so they can judge. That's fine. Whatever. Here's. What do you think?
here you go.
Chat? How
Here's
did
the pose.
it do? Who
Oh, no,
wore
other way,
who
hold on.
wore it better, being Dutch?
Back to back.
Am I doing it right?
What's happening?
Yeah.
Jake's going for the shaky cam look. This is like the Hunger Games shaky cam look.
Jake is upside down now.
There you go, Jake. That's ideal.
Jake is Dutch Universal Greenwich time.
I should probably move the camera back.
Jake, you should stay like that for the night.
Okay.
Why not?
This was
All the blood's gonna
original
rush to my
camera
head,
angle,
but
right?
it'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Jake said me like, no, sit in your story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
Uh-huh.
This was the original camera angle, right?
I don't know.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so you're
Yo,
saying
what's
I
this?
should do like
Oh, is this a new Pokemon that's being advertised to me on Twitch right now?
Ooh.
A Pokemon?
There's a new Pokemon game.
Yeah,
think it's
you
a
can
new
tell he's a
Pokemon
real
anime.
gamer by the way he says Pokemon.
Pokemon? I've played Pokemon.
I play the Pokemains.
Pokemon?
That's a streamer.
No,
is a
Pokemon's a streamer.
Oh,
Oh. I always thought Pokemon was the streamer.
Pokemon.
No, you're thinking of
Got to catch them
poke.
Oh.
It's a dish.
Oh.
Enunciation. I choose you.
Are you sure you're not talking about Pocky?
No. That's like a slang
Poke
for a
sticks.
pocket. Like, yo,
It's you and
can you pull
me.
your phone out of your pocky?
I think I'm on LSD.
When you go up to the metal detector and they're like, we need your phone, keys, wallet out of your pocky.
What?
It's called that because it's where you keep your keys, your
Yeah,
pocky.
Pocky.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Is
like
it
your
weird that
cocky?
even though
Actually, more traditional to refer to the pocket that you would normally put your keys in, which is your right front pocket.
That sounds like
your pocky.
Australian slang.
It does actually. Anyways.
I think that bit's come to a close. I can't think of anywhere else to take it. I was like, where can we go next? There's nowhere to go. Like,
We all yes and nobody and.
looks down at Google Maps. It's like, turn left. Looks up. It's a cement wall.
Oh. What did the fish say when it hit the cement wall?
It said, Josh needs one more caffeine. I'll be back.
Damn.
What does the
Get it?
Does the fish?
Because
I do.
Damn.
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 Because he
Damn.
really hates that he hit a wall. and he
Oh, I get it.
curses.
Damn.
Yeah.
I said,
Damn.
gosh darn it all to heck.
Gosh darn it all the heck. Darn.
Josh Garnett.
What did the farmer say when he hit a wall?
What?
Barn.
So dumb.
I like how you're. You still laugh.
Barn.
You still.
How do you tell if a joke is a dad joke?
How?
When the
My
punchline
wife
becomes apparent.
Lit a toasted marshmallow scented candle and then left it unattended on the counter, so I stole it.
An unattended candle.
I mean, it's like we're in the house, but
That could start a
I
fire.
thought you literally just snuck an unattended toasted marshmallow off of your counter and you were like hoarding it like Gollum.
oh, like it just
you
a
were going to eat
marshmallow.
it.
Like she toasted
Yeah,
a
like a toasted
marshmallow, set it
marshmallow,
on
yes.
the counter to come back to later. Thumbs up.
Wait, I got another one. What did the grandma say when she got buried from the contents of her closet?
What?
Yarn. Get it? Because she it's a grandma, so stereotypically
Yeah,
they knit and their closet's
yeah.
full of yarn.
Wow.
Thanks for the clarification on that one. I was really confused until you explaid it. I
thought
get it
the
a lot better now.
explanation for me.
made it even funnier.
It
Yep,
was the
exactly.
explanation for me.
What do you call a donkey with 3 legs?
What?
What?
A wonky.
What was the other one that he was afraid was like? Was it like too bad for work? This is the ideal environment for that stream. For that
Oh
joke.
no.
She has a coworker who is like the most tame G-rated human you've ever met, who is like, I have a joke, but I can't type it in the work chat because it's not safe for work. And so he like hyped up this joke all day and then told her on the way to the car or something. What's the
Now I'm gonna get it wrong. So a man goes to see his psychiatrist, and he isn't wearing any clothes. He's just wrapped in cellophane. And he walks in and the psychiatrist looks at him and he goes, "Sir, I can clearly see your nuts."
that joke's not safe for work. You have to wait until you're in the parking lot for that one. You don't want that on your chat history.
I'm imagining now HR calls you up and they're like, we've had some complaints from IT. We've looked through your chat logs and your IM messaging, and we've noticed
Clearly
some
not
inappropriate
work-related.
behavior. That was clearly not work approved or related. You're going to have to explain this one to us.
Please explain the punchline to us.
Yeah.
What do you do with a dog with 2 legs?
That was the punchline.
You take him for a drag.
No. Oh no.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at something my dog just did.
Was it drag?
No, it wasn't drag. We Lupin's had
There are
trouble.
branching paths to that.
I was thinking them all.
Lupin has had trouble today relieving himself of his heavier possessions, and Julia just he's done the deed and now he's got the zoomies and he's just flying around the backyard like I'm so much lighter now.
Oh no.
Dogs
That's,
are great, man.
I understand that. After I've done the deed, as you said,
Do
I
you
feel
also
like
get the zoomies?
I get the zoomies after doing the deed.
Who
Take
does?
that one out of context.
who
Clip that
doesn't?
We
one
need to
out of
start playing
context.
D&D before this goes off.
I know. I need to add that
even
to our
further.
quote bot, and then I can.
I can't even see the
I've
time
done
right
the
now.
deed.
Like,
I too
too
get
often
the
get the
zoomies.
There we go.
That also has branching pathways.
No, I don't even have my music playing bot isn't working, so I can't even like try and bring us back in by setting the tone with some like adventure-y D&D music. We're just gonna make the hard left
The
turn.
neighbors are like, who's doing laps?
They look outside in my yard. It's Cleo.
Don't worry, I've come armed.
The camera whip pans over to the door. Lupin's like really confused, head turned sideways. You're right.
Maybe
We
I
should
shouldn't-
probably just play D&D.
Played Face in my
You
face.
probably shouldn't.
Good talk, everyone.
Yeah.
This has been a PSA. We don't know what's it about.
Yeah, I say, what was it
but
announcing?
D&D
And how was it
will
a
be
public
back
service?
shortly. It's
PSFW.
It's given to the public. We did a service to the public, and we announced that we're live on Twitch. So
That's true. We did do that.
PSA. Girl,
It's in the game.
What?
PSA. It's in the game.
I do not know why that was as funny as I. Oh my!
It's right in the pocket of being like it's a 3-syllable sequence of like things that Cleo said, and so for some reason it's in the game felt right afterwards.
Doesn't
but
like
because
rhyme
it's so
or fit
different,
it's not like initials in a
Exactly.
word. It's just like you just said it's in the game, and for some reason Wash and I broke. Okay, Aulen Woodrear.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring it in. Good luck. This one's called Tonal Whiplash, as Jake once said. Aulen Woodrear,
It's
you
in
are
the game.
sprinting down the completely dark passageway, the tunnel between the city of Knowood and Geyser Falls. At the end of the last session, you, Radford, and Zopf, not to be confused with Zoth, were able to rescue Do Bumblefoot, only to find that you were rescuing a corpse and not an imprisoned avatar. Do Bumblefoot is dead, and the best you can tell, she's been dead longer than the minute, like, because you were there more than a minute, so you know that Revivify won't work in this circumstance. You haven't done any forensics. We haven't examined the body for cause of death, anything like that. You arrived, you took it in, you felt bad, you sprinted out of the room. So behind Aulen, still in kind of the safe zone where Zopf was able to kind of sneakily teleport you away to, is Radford, Zopf, and the corpse of the monk from the Society of the Silver Sky. As you were sprinting, Aulen, your footsteps echoing down the tunnel, there's no light, it's nighttime. It's, you're just running. You have dark vision, right? Your Azamar has dark vision. Yeah. So you can see out to a certain extent, but these are long tunnels and you're a couple days into the journey. You're just running back towards Riley. Eventually, you hear an echoing set of footsteps. More than 2. You hear, just kind of 4, maybe 6 footsteps running down the tunnel towards you. Riley, you and the Tinkali warrior have managed to fend off the undead corpses of past adventurers. You have put down this corruption threat. You've turned the undead. You've used your cleric skills to the maximum. And now you are trying to reconnect with your friends. Unfortunately, it's like a windy mess of tunnels down here and they had the map. And so you made a wrong turn. And by the time you and the Tinkali figured it out, it had been a day. And so it's now the second day since you left them, made space for them to adventure further in. However, you're on the right course now and you're certain you're heading the right way. Aulen and Riley, I would like you to make dexterity saves.
Is this against something I can see or not see?
This is not against something you can see.
Okay.
Am I carrying toast in my mouth? Am I running towards a corner? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, we are running towards a T-junction in the path here.
So what you're saying is we're in not C territory.
That's right. Aulen is in the
What's happening? What? Okay.
Watch is trying to make jokes.
Okay.
Yep.
We got the Barbie jokes out. Now he's making Oppenheimer jokes.
There you go.
Okay. So I just bought these new dice, and
I
they're
got a
not
4.
They're not doing me great.
They're not
You got
doing
a
great.
4?
Yep.
Okay, at least I rolled better than you. I got a 6.
Okay. Neither of you succeeds. And so I would like each of you to roll a d6 of force damage for yourselves as the Tinkali warrior who Riley is riding races around the corner of this T-junction and smacks right into Aulen, who is running with Dew Bumblefoot. Aulen, you do not drop Dew, but that's probably why you end up taking damage, is you kind of twist your body so that you take the hit. So you get it like kind of runs into your back and you kind of bounce off the wall with your shoulder. But
Riley hit the wall like a car accident.
yeah,
out
Riley
the front
flies
windshield.
off because there's no seatbelt on a scorpion creature. So
Right.
Riley flies off the back of the Tinkali and splats on the wall. Wings splayed out, and you are now reconnected.
Ow!
Wait,
Is everyone okay?
Riley?
Aulen?
Do Bumblefoot.
What happened?
We can't be too late. We must not be too late. And then Alan just like holds
Too
out
late?
the body of Dew in front of Riley. Like out in his
Did
arms.
you knock him unconscious?
No, there's no Alan like gestures to the like pulse and like just
I'm gonna do a
there's nothing.
medical check.
Yeah.
I don't trust no amateur. Oof. Okay. But I did get 12 if I did my math correctly.
Okay. Dew Bumblefoot is dead. The body has scorch marks up and down her arms and legs. Her wings are kind of tattered. And her hair, which should have been kind of straw colored, like all the wheatlings, has sort of frayed and wilted into like a darker, almost like when leaves, turn brown before they fall, where they kind of crinkle in on themselves and that kind of thing. You estimate that she has been dead for probably a couple months.
Aulen, I don't think I can fix this, Aulen.
How long has it been?
I can't be exactly sure. I mean, there's a lot of variables. But it's a little longer than a minute. It's been a couple months.
Alan sinks down to his knees and sets down the body on the floor, but just puts his head in his hands and just starts muttering, "The rod. I should have. We didn't need the rod. It was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary risk. It took too long.
I
took too long.
I might be able to. I can try maybe something. I don't think I can save her, but maybe someone else can. I can try something.
Try anything. What would it take? Like what would it take this long after?
Do you happen to have some copper? Some copper pieces. I know we kind of all moved to Wingle Digits.
I don't have any copper pieces.
Well, 2 months. She's waited 2 months. We can wait a couple more days. But I might be able to buy some time for someone who can do something about 2 months. I don't know if there is anybody out there, but maybe we can find out. We can salvage this. We just need some copper pieces.
Okay.
This is we're gonna figure this out together, Aulen. Josh,
Yeah.
how like decayed? I know you said 2 months, but like
It's not like rot or anything has set in, if that's what you mean.
Okay.
Like she was imprisoned the same way that Garlel and Laredith and the other, so like there is evidence of sort of like, the scars and whatever of like the magical draining, whatever it is that the Avlas have been doing, so she's, like I said, she's got like scorch marks up and down her arms and stuff, but it's not like, flesh is falling off her bones or anything like that.
Can I roll to see if maybe that had any effect of preserving the body?
Do you just mean in turn, like actually preserving the body, or are we aiming for a certain spell to work?
No, I'm just saying like if while they were imprisoned, if even after they had died, right? Because I'm assuming they still had to release them, right? If perhaps that has helped preserve the body. I don't know.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like if being imprisoned in the circle has like prevented decay from setting in.
Correct.
Sure. You don't need to roll for that. You are pretty confident that, a body wouldn't have rotted by now, but it would probably smell, and there would be sort of evidence of whatever. And this does not seem that way. Except for the obvious, like signs of time, passing, where it's like, scars turning to scabs, turning to whatever. Besides that kind of stuff, like the visual stuff, it doesn't seem like the decay has set in on like a fundamental level. So it does seem like some amount of preservation has happened.
I actually have a great idea, Aulen. Maybe we can go back to the undead, and maybe they're previous adventurers, from what we could see. Maybe they had old currency on them.
Yes, that I'm sorry. And Aulen will kind of slowly get to his feet.
Let me look at my map. I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, Josh, I would assume that Riley's been here mapping every single wrong turn they've taken to get to this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. If we head straight back, we might be able to buy some time. You know what? Okay. We can figure this out. Now, traditionally it would be copper, but maybe it might recognize other things. I'm going to take 2 wings.
Okay.
Out of my pocket. I'm going to place one over each eye of Do Bumblefoot here. I'm going to pull out a pinch of salt, and I'm going to cast Gentle Repose to see if that at all can help. From what I understand, it just helps like protect it from decay.
Okay. Target is protected from decay and cannot become undead. And also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days spent under the influence of this spell don't count against the time limit of spells such as Raise Dead. Got it.
So it's 10 days.
Okay. So you cast Gentle Repose, and as far as you can tell, the spell works. It does seem to take effect, even though you used Wingle Digits instead of copper pieces. You're not totally certain why, but it seems to have worked fine. Okay. And as you do that, just as you finish the spell and you're confident that it worked, the Tinkali warrior, who's just been kind of watching everyone's backs, suddenly holds up a fist to like get everyone's attention, and and is like, do you feel that? Do you feel it? Something's changing. And then you all start to feel the ground begin to shake. We cut back to Zopf and Radford, who are sitting back in the room with the monk from the Society of the Silver Sky. What have you two been doing for 15-ish minutes, maybe 30 minutes?
Probably just talking.
So
just paying my last respects to the monk. I don't think my plan was to stay there for too much longer, so if we gather the rest of our stuff, we might scrub off the teleportation circle here and kind of cover our tracks. You think that's a good idea instead of leaving this behind?
Yeah, definitely we should erase it.
Okay.
And Zoph will start like scratching.
Sure. So maybe
Yeah,
that's what
same.
you've been doing is you've been scratching out the circle, making sure there's no trace that you did magic here. And just as you kind of finish that up, you feel the same thing. You start to feel a tremor in the ground, a rumble. I'm going to roll 3 tension die, and we're going to see if the tunnel survives the earthquake. Chat has changed the weather on us. So here's the first one.
Thanks, chat. Thanks for the earthquake while we're underground. Appreciate that.
Oh, all right. The ground begins shaking, and both sets of you hear the sound of a cave-in. You know, the rock ceiling falling or the stone ceiling falling in the tunnel. It doesn't land on either set of you, but Radford and Zopf, it is clearly in the direction that Aulen ran, and Aulen, it is clearly in the direction back towards Radford and Zopf. You are now separated from them by this cave-in that has just happened.
Who has the map?
You two do. Aulen just took off sprinting, so I'm assuming everything that would have been in camp is still in camp.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to take a look at the map and see if there's any, I don't know, any obvious paths. Yeah.
I think we could clear this rubble out though, if it is a problem.
The map doesn't have any obvious paths because it's mostly overland. Like this tunnel system wasn't on the map. But you have like, as you went through it, you obviously mapped the part you've been through, you've traced, so you could retrace your steps, but it doesn't have like
So
the
I don't
greater
see
tunnel
any-
system.
I don't see any exit points or exit like cave entrances on the surface that are nearby outside of the city or the geyser.
That's a good point. Let's pull up the map and see.
Ooh, look at me with my one brain cell firing on all cylinders.
So here's our map. Chat, we are, Nowood is here in 39. The rest of you guys are at 27. So the cave-in is between space 38 and 39 here. And it doesn't look like there are any mapped cave entrances in this area.
Okay.
Which again, doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means they haven't been found.
You're probably right, Zop. Let's see if we can at least maybe holler. Maybe we can communicate a little bit or make room for you to squeeze through.
Okay.
We're gonna walk towards the cave.
Yep, you get to the cave-in easily. Are you yelling first or digging first?
Yeah.
Hello.
On the other side of the cave-in, you, Riley and Aulen, you hear the voices very faintly yelling through from the other side.
Aulen, do you hear that?
Yes, I do. And Alan will go up to the cave and try to get us close. And are you safe over there?
Okay. Yeah, we're all right. Are you guys hurt?
Yep, we're as good as we can be.
Okay. Riley?
Zomph, are you okay?
I'm fine, sister. Are you okay?
Yes. Is your right wing okay? I know sometimes you have issues with it.
Oh no, it hasn't been giving me trouble today.
Okay. Well, I would say we're in a little bit of a jam here. Stuck between, well, a rock and a rock, I guess. What do you do you guys have another way out? Do you you guys have the map, right?
Sure. Yeah, we have the map. There's no charted way out. I figured we could just start clearing this or blasting it.
Josh,
Yes.
can I look at the dead ends that me and the Tinkali took and see if perhaps there was a few where like we could have continued on and might have led somewhere?
There's the possibility of looping around, but nothing definitive. You don't have a conclusive way to get over there. Like you can't be confident in it. It's just like, well, we don't know where it ends, so maybe it goes there.
Okay. Well, we can try taking a few tunnels, but I don't like the idea of just leaving it up to chance.
Josh, how thick is the rubble like that collapse?
It's like 2 or 3 big chunks of stone. Like, you know, this part of the tunnel was eroded by water. So it's just like some of the water in the ceiling or some of the eroded stone in the ceiling is just like looser or more corrosive as the river faded away from it. So a couple big chunks of that came down. It could probably be moved, but it, because they're bigger chunks, like certainly your wheatling self is not about to like pick them up and put them down somewhere. You would probably need to break them apart or, find a way to, meld with stone or something like that. Aulen and Radford might be able to give it a shot.
Are there gaps we can fly through?
Actually, for you, that's totally possible. Let's roll. Trevor, roll a percentile die, and Wash, decide heads or tails. If I roll heads, it has to be higher than 50. If I flip tails, or you know what I mean. Like Wash is going to pick which one is over 50.
Tails.
Tails. Okay, so it's tails. So you need over a 50.
I got and
all right, you do find a gap that you can squeeze through. You can't fly through it, but you can kind of like inch your way through. So you kind of determine that it's maybe 5 or 10 feet thick, the cave in.
Okay.
Do you think maybe if I cast a spell for the plants in the area, the roots might break up the rocks for us a bit?
What's the spell?
Well, I had learned back at trying to make sure none of our fields died, how to cast plant growth. But I'm not sure. I don't see anything obvious, and there would have to be a significant root system in order to break these rocks up, I'd presume.
My idea was just Eldritch blasting the rocks until they're small enough to move.
I could try it from the other side.
As long as we make sure not to hit each other with the Eldritch Blast, I think that could work. The root system idea is also creative.
And take a break if we let me try plant growth first, because I think that's going to be less destabilizing. And then we can try your idea.
Okay.
Unfortunately, plant growth requires there to already be plants in the radius. So you wouldn't, there aren't any plants currently growing down in this tunnel. So it doesn't cost
That's
you.
why I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I'm
yeah.
saying you would notice this before you cast it. So it's like as you're getting ready, you don't waste the spell slot or anything, but you're getting ready to cast and you realize shoot, there's no actual roots here.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing anything for my idea. So, all right. You go first. Aulen, let's step aside. Mr. Tinkali, sir, you might want to move aside as well.
I will gallantly hold your flank covered. And he turns around and he digs in and he wields his little scorpion tail, flits into a ready position, and he's watching the back. He's making sure no one sneaks up on you.
And if Eldritch Blast is not effective for any reason, Aulen pulls out the rifle of ice knife. And he's like, this is something I've been itching to try as well.
Wash has a hand up. Yes?
While they're doing this, Radford's going to walk away. He's not going to be able to punch any rocks.
Okay.
And he's not a very strong boy. I want to head towards the city a little bit. Just stroll a little bit that way.
Okay. The whole way to the city, out of range of your party? Or I guess, what's your goal?
He thinks that this is probably going to take some time.
Okay.
And so he's going to take a stroll back to the city, covertly, and see if anything is following them. There was water that was rising.
Great.
He wants to just make sure that nothing's coming up on their flank.
Great. Okay. So while the twins are working, they get into a pretty good rhythm with Eldritch Blast, and it does look like it's going to work out, but it's probably going to take about a half an hour, which I'll roll another tension die for that time, and then we'll follow Radford while that's happening. Okay, no extra complications for that time. So Radford, you head back down the tunnel, and we'll say, you've already done the path before or whatever, so you can probably make this journey pretty quickly. So we'll say you get down there, you have a couple minutes to look around and you can walk back, or you can get down there, spend a long time looking around, but you'll be half an hour away from your party, or 15 minutes away from your party if you need anything. Which would you prefer?
I think he's going to stay a little bit, actually.
Roll perception with advantage.
Oh, glad I got advantage on that. 18.
The water has stopped rising. Remember this tunnel you're in, it was naturally formed, but at the end it was kind of carved into like a sort of water feed for the town. And so it would drain into a big communal reservoir at the base of the city. The water has stopped rising, not quite even with the end of the tunnel. Maybe, a couple feet down, maybe 5 feet down from the edge of the tunnel. So you're it's almost like you're standing on like the shelf at the edge of a pool where, the water is kind of lapping up towards you, but it hasn't quite reached that height. You don't see anything in the water. But you do have that weird, like something's watching me kind of vibe where it's just like you feel paranoid, but you're not sure if that's like the paranoia of the space or what's going on there. As you look upwards through the city, you do not see any of the shadow creatures. And although down here is pretty dark because it's overgrown, there is still some sun in the sky. It's evening. So the sun is kind of making its way down, but it's still high enough that yellow light is coming in. You're not in blue hour even here in the mountain. So there's a little bit of yellow light kind of reflecting around and illuminating some dust as it swirls. You do see a couple interesting things. First, obviously, still towering up above you is the scale of stars sticking out over the opening. That's interesting just because it's cool. It's this huge monument that draws the eye. But you also see every now and then, it seems like a mote of dust behaves improperly. So we've already said that there's all this standing dust in this area, and because it's inside a mountain, it's like there's not a lot of air current to blow it around. So it's really sitting pretty still. If the dust is sitting still or lightly swirled, you should be able to fully track its progress. But instead, it almost looks like there is dust that's blowing lightly towards something, and then it just full stops. Like it almost disappears from your vision. So like you're looking towards, let's say like a doorway of an old house that's kind of overgrown with, moss or ivy or whatever. And the stuff kind of floats towards it. And then it's like it gets to the doorway and it's almost like it goes in the door. You know what I mean? Like it disappears on the other side of it. Or you might be looking towards, there's that big pedestal in the center where their town square was. There's curtains of whatever overgrowth hanging off of it, and dust it kind of swirls through the curtains, but on the other side it doesn't emit like through the other side of it or whatever. And so it's just like weird behaviors. It's almost like the space is non-Euclidean, where it's like 1 doesn't equal 1. And it's kind of weird looking. What you don't see is any villains who are following you or anything like that. You don't hear anything swimming in the water, and you take the time to, like, you were pretty convinced there was something bad in that water. So you took the time to like listen for an aboleth or whatever. You don't see any indication, nothing like that. So that's what you see in the space. Maybe the first little glimmer of stars, through the opening at the top of the mountain.
Okay. I think he's going to pick up a stone and try to launch it in the direction of where one of these motes of dust have gone away. He suspects there's an illusion there. Okay. He suspects there's some sort of like mind game.
He launches the stone, and it's, you're a pretty athletic guy. It's a pretty good throw. So you get the stone to, let's say it's a window. You've got a pretty good angle from this tunnel on like maybe the side of some buildings that were near the well, and so you kind of toss it at a window where some plants have overgrown it. You toss it at that window, and the stone does not like dissuade an illusion. There's, you don't disbelieve an illusion or anything like that, but the stone does disappear as it passes through the window.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And he's going to head back to the other guys.
Okay. Radford arrives back just as the last little bits of rubble are cleared. So Riley and Zopf, you find yourselves both readying an Eldritch Blast, looking right into each other's eyes.
We did it.
So I think Cleo's muted.
That's true.
These things happen. Whoa. Okay. That was good job, brother.
You too, sister. I know these kinds of spells have never been your strong suit.
Okay, I take back my compliment. You don't have to out me like that. Right. So, where are we going then?
Well,
Back to the city.
I'm not sure whether the best route is necessarily back to the city. However, I have been thinking
City?
while you two, yes, the city of Norwood, which is where we just were.
So you made it there?
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes. We made it. I'm sorry. Yes.
I guess it makes sense as you have to.
Yes, we made it. We made it to the city, and we encountered some resistance, and there was in fact rising waters at the bottom of the city, and I'm not sure what the result of that will be. And I don't see Radford currently, so I believe that may be what Radford is off to investigating.
Radford's actually just strolled back up.
Oh yes, Radford.
Hey there, goofballs. And Radford's like packing some cloth into like the wound in his chest from the spear chain thing.
Fine, Radford.
Something fishy going on. That wasn't a pun, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe some sort of illusion or some dimensional rift, things that are moving around in there, disappearing when they cross certain thresholds. Pieces of dust that float around and they vanish, and I threw a rock at one of them and it just kind of whooped away.
Interesting.
My current theory, I kind of thought a little bit on the way back, is you guys were talking about the plane of limbo. And if there was an aboleth there, either it's doing some serious mind stuff that I just wasn't able to perceive, or maybe that's some sort of gateway there where they were summoning the shadow creatures.
Perhaps that or yeah, any of those explanations could be.
I got a really
correct.
bad vibe.
I agree.
Like something was watching me.
Okay. Do we perhaps want to check it out?
Well,
Look into it?
what I was about to propose, while you were clearing away the rubble, which thank you for that very much, by the way, I think it may be best to investigate the scale of stars, as Do Bumblefoot is or was an avatar of Zanir, and the scale of stars is the most important artifact in Zanir's history. Perhaps it may be best to take Do there and see if perhaps there is some sort of magical effect that she could be, I'm not sure, recharged by or something. I think it's worth investigation at least. But I'm not sure whether the best
brief
route.
Reminder to the
Yes.
to the players also. At the end of you can do whatever you want. At the end of the last session, I think it sounded like one of your plans was to try and cast Speak with Dead on Do Bumblefoot, and to investigate the scale of stars. So just reminding you, those two things were on the table, but you can live your lives.
I don't think lore wise Aulen has thought about, like, in character, Aulen hasn't thought about Speak with Dead yet.
Well, I don't think, Avatar or not, that people work that way when they're in the condition that Do is in. But I still think it's not a bad idea to investigate the scales. I can keep Do in this state as long as we need to.
Do you know how exactly she died, or cause of death specifically?
I can look her back over and see if I notice anything.
She's had all of her divine energy removed. It was the same thing that happened with, or that almost happened with Carlo, and has been happening with the other avatars. But to her, it ran to completion, is what it looks like to me.
I rolled a nat 20 on my medical check to see if I can discern like any details of that.
Yeah, 100%. So the scorch marks and everything are consistent with what Radford says. So they were extracting divine energy from Do Bumblefoot. They reached the limit of divine energy, and without that divine energy, there was nothing to continue sustaining life. And so she died. The way that the scars are formed, to you, they almost read like tree rings, where you can see how much energy was extracted in each session, and you can kind of, see a little bit of the workings of the magic they were using. And you can see that approximately 4.5 to 5 months ago, they ramped up the amount of magic they were extracting in a single session. So there's consistent amounts where it seems like they were calculated to be, exactly as much as she can stand. So they're not trying to like torture or kill her. They just are using her to feed these batteries. And then something happened 4.5 to 5 months ago that they made the decision to ramp up production, and they had fully expended her energy in a week. And by the end of that time, she was fully spent. After that time, they left her suspended in the magic circle. So like you can, again, like you said, the visual decay isn't right, even though internally, obviously the body has died. The actual corpse has been preserved, and you're confident that that is because of residual energy, because their mechanism of capture was imperfect. So it's like, not enough to like restore her to life, but there was just enough little energy kind of left floating around in that circle that it's like it was enough to kind of preserve her body.
Looking her over, I mean, Aulen, you might be onto something. So it seems, looking at these marks, if you look here, you can see here, right, how it looks like it's multiple scars overlapping.
Yes.
And the outer ones here, they're the more recent ones, and they're a lot wider and than the earlier ones. I think if I'm going to go off of this, I want to say about 4 months ago, they really sped it up. I don't know what changed their minds, but before this, they were clearly trying to keep her alive. And I guess something changed. But the reason that she, honestly hasn't become worm food seems to be that perhaps whatever was entrapping her still had some residual divine energy. And if that's enough to keep her from decaying, maybe it's enough to reverse the process. This is an avatar, Aulen, and I've worked with all kinds of creatures before, but they run off of divine energy, so I'm not confident in how that actually works.
Your knowledge here exceeds mine, but that is reason enough for me to believe that seeking out the scale may be the next step or a possible lead.
Well, I can easily keep this going. I would prefer if we used copper, just to guarantee that we don't cause any issues, but it did seem to take wings as well. And I'll have to cast it every 10 days. And I doubt it will take that long, but it's something to keep in mind.
That is great to keep in mind, and I am happy to incorporate my own wingle digits into the process as needed.
Well, if that's the case, though, perhaps we should make a move towards the city. I am now a little worried, though, given what Radford just educated us on.
Well, that is my question, is that obviously up through the city is a way to the scale. I'm wondering if perhaps there is an overland over the mountain route to the scale.
You are confident
well.
that there is. That particular route is on your adventurer map. Like the way up there, basically it was just
Yes.
like, the one space to the next is the way to
Okay.
the top of the city.
Okay. And if I remember correctly on the map, there is a way to get there, and I would prefer that way, especially if we're seeing some strange anomalies and feeling like we're being watched if we take the route through the city.
Could I take a rest while we're talking and discussing? Because
Yeah, for sure. You
I
can
don't know
get a
about
short
you
rest
guys,
at
but I'm
least.
kind of beaten to heck.
Yes, that seems appropriate to me as well, especially now that we've reposed the body. Yes.
Yeah, plenty of time for a short rest in these conversations and whatnot.
Okay, you just tell me when, boss. I'm gonna cook something and just
Yeah,
like
not
tend to this a
to-
little bit.
I was assuming you were waiting for us to finish our conversation, but somebody did redeem deadly combat in the chat.
I've got a timer running.
Oh,
It's a 10-minute event. Deadly combat doesn't spur an encounter. Make sure you read the descriptions of your rewards chat. Deadly combat doesn't start an encounter. Deadly combat makes it so that while in combat, players are unable to regain hit points. And so are the villains. Like nobody can regain hit points. You can stabilize at 0, but there's no way to recover health during combat.
But can we
initiative.
recover help right now?
Yes, as long as you are
Okay.
not in initiative order, it doesn't apply.
I see. So Josh is a stickler about the rules, not just to us, but to chat too. I like it.
All right. Well, if that's the case, do we want to find perhaps maybe not a junction that just caved in, but perhaps another place that's a little safer? It might just be my preference, but I think it would be in all of our best interests.
Yes, that is completely fine by me if we just find someplace that's not next to a cave-in.
All right.
We don't have to take a full rest. We can just, I mean, if that's okay with everyone else.
That's what I was just about to ask. Are we taking short rest break or long rest break?
How long
Short
have we been
rest
down
over here.
here?
How long? What?
How long have we been down in the caves? I guess
You've been down in the caves for like 2 days now, but I'm assuming you've taken your long rests at night. So like, it's
We took a
evening,
long
but
rest
the day has
last
not
on-
ended yet on today. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's think like 9 p.m. Maybe it's
Okay.
8:44 p.m.
Well, if we want
Do
to,
we want an early start in the morning, or get to where we need to get to tonight, and then
like I said, Aulen, there's no rush with what I can do with Do here, but I'm more or less maybe we can have a chance to talk about this. Maybe now's not the right time, but I do have some questions for you.
well, in that case, I think that it may be beneficial for us to take our evening rest sooner than later. So find a safe spot and take a long rest and gather our thoughts for the night and get an early start tomorrow for getting to the overland path to the scale, if that sounds good to everybody else.
Sounds like we have a plan then.
So yeah, we'll scout a less like cave-in-ish type
Sure.
spot.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then take our long rest.
There are plenty of little like dents and imperfections in the side of the tunnel. So you just find a different one to hole up in. Or do you just want to go back to your same hovel where you teleported to?
No, because there's a cave-in. Well, I guess no, we cleared out the cave-in. No, we might as well, like, even though it's only like 30 minutes of progress, we've already started heading. I don't know. I think we're fine. Finding a spot a little further ahead.
Okay.
Ooh, that was a good rest. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for a nice long night. We're just gonna march all the way through, right?
I'm sorry. I believe that we're actually going to turn in early and get an early start tomorrow, if that
Oh,
is okay. Just to get everything
plan
fully
to then
recovered.
go overland to the top of the mountain, or are you going up through the city?
Yes,
Okay.
overland.
Great.
yeah, that sounds.
Aulen, would it be
Yes.
okay if we took first watch?
Yes, and we can
together?
discuss what you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Perfect.
Cool. So you two take first watch together. I'll roll a tension die to see if anything happens, and then you can have your conversation. All
Gosh,
right.
dang it.
Go ahead and have your conversation.
Should we perhaps roll perception before we start our conversation?
I don't
Since
know.
we
How
are
do
in
you want
watch.
to? How do you want to do?
I
your
would
watch?
like to
Players
roll
hate this one
perception.
DM trick.
I rolled 9 on the die, but
I got a
do
15.
I have no, I do not. Yeah, I got a 13.
Okay. Nothing seems to happen during watch.
Okay, well, what's our... Yes, you were wanting to discuss with me some things.
So, remember how I mentioned the timeline of Dew's passing?
Yes.
Obviously something must have changed because there was a lot of scars before that happened, and then all of a sudden, within, a couple of weeks, I think the intent was to get as much as they could while also removing Dew from the equation, as you could say.
Mm.
Do you have any idea what made them change their mind?
I was attuning to the Rod of Intelligence during that time. So as far as my own personal experience, I don't know of anything. I guess my only thought, well, I'm not sure. My only thought could be that Fox, I know I've mentioned Fox before.
Yes.
One of the Four Guys founders, he took a team to attempt to rescue Jeb if Jeb was able to be rescued. And he left right before I started attuning to the rod, and that whatever caused them to speed up the extraction on Dew would have been during the time I was attuning. So perhaps something that Fox and his group did may have caused, I don't know, could have caused the Aboleths to worry or to feel like they needed to accelerate their plan.
This whole thing is, I would say you probably have more of an insight than I do into what they might do and why. I mean, it could be unrelated, right?
It could be. It could completely be unrelated.
But if it is related, and they've made this decision with Dew, I don't know if there's anybody else you're looking for, but if there is, they might already be in a similar situation.
Well, from what we believe to know, Dew was the last avatar to be captured. The other two avatars that we have not, or I guess we haven't made, well, Radford has made contact with, no, sorry, I'm getting mixed up as to who's an avatar and who is not. But Kay, as far as we know, has not been captured, but is simply trapped in the sky, essentially. That is our theory, on his airship orbiting the area, orbiting or flying around the continent. And what's the name of the avatar that looks like a moose?
Satonia.
Yeah,
Avatar of
Satonia.
Kotix.
Okay.
What's that moose avatar?
And we believe Satonia to be free, as in Zothkug, in his first vision, Satonia was the only avatar that appeared to him as free, and as though she was she was the one sending the vision to him, warning him of the other avatars being captured. So at certain points we know that, or we believe that those avatars need to be found, but do not necessarily need to be freed. So that bodes better for us in this category, at least.
Okay. I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Did you hear something? Sorry, I know we're having this conversation, but I swear I could have heard something coming from behind you.
Alan will look over his shoulder.
I'm gonna cast Hold Person on Alan. And then follow that up with Eldritch Blast.
Holy cow.
Ali gets a save for hold person, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of save is it?
Double checking if it's my clerical or
I think it's your cleric
warlock.
save. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. Wisdom. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's a 14.
I don't think that makes the cut.
Okay. Can Alan speak while under hold person?
They are paralyzed.
A paralyzed creature is incapacitated and can't move or speak.
Dang it.
The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature.
I'm so sorry. God. I'm double checking some things because wasn't expecting to do this. For some reason. Okay. So with at least Eldritch Blast, let me at least first roll that. Can that crit?
Any attack that is rolled can crit. So if you roll to hit with it, then it can crit. If it's a save, then it can't crit. It would just...
It is a roll. But it automatically hits because they're paralyzed. So, and crits double damage in 5e?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Wash, is that right? Is a crit double damage or double dice?
Double dice.
Double dice. My bad.
Double dice. Okay. Oh.
So if you roll a d6 and then add your strength modifier or whatever, it doesn't add the modifier. It doesn't double those, just the dice.
And for all of you at home who don't use spells as much as I do, would you all mind educating me if there's you add anything to the damage besides the dice roll?
No. Typically spells are just the dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, it really is just fully doubled.
In that case, 12.
With Eldritch Blast, depending on how many levels you go along, you might add some which indication.
I think you need the agonizing blast to get your spell modifier put into that. It's just dice.
Yeah, no, we're good. 12 damage.
Okay.
Alan takes 12 damage and I guess says nothing and does nothing.
Does that mean he gets to save again? Because he took damage?
I don't know that answer. I'm not sure about hold person. Let me look it up real quick. Hold person.
It's just at the end of Alan's.
Okay,
Ouch.
well this would be the end of Alan's turn, right? Unless you're taking a move action.
Yeah, I'll get up closer and I will pull out cloth out of my bag, but I can't really do anything because I've already used my action. You know what? I have a better idea. Does taking items off of somebody count as an action?
Yes, I think that would be an action. So
Okay,
it would if you're trying to lift something disarm him or whatever,
Right.
you'd have to do that next round.
Okay, then I'll just close the distance if we
Okay.
weren't already at a close distance.
You close
which
the
I think we
distance
are.
and Alan gets another save.
I rolled even worse. I got a 9.
Okay, Alan is still held.
Okay, in that case, paralyzed and helpless.
Woken up with the spell cast of Eldritch Blast. Is that loud enough to wake us up?
Does it have a vocal component?
What's your passive perception?
Hold person does.
Zop is 10.
Radford's is 12.
Okay. Radford, roll a wisdom save to determine if you wake up. DC is a straight 10. because there is a verbal component, but we're assuming that she had the presence of mind to do it, like whisper or try and
and
keep
also
it
we
muted.
were already talking to each other. Not to make the situation more difficult for me.
4 plus 2. I rolled a 6.
Okay, so this round you do not wake up. I'll give you every time there's another spell with a verbal component, you can roll another wisdom save with a DC of 10 to wake up. Or attack that makes noise. Anything like that would make noise. Okay, so that brings us back around to Riley's turn.
Riley is going to, being the very big difference in size, basically going to crawl up to him, crawl up him to find her target, which in this case, I believe is about 1 shin long.
The rod?
Yeah, I'm looking for the rod.
It's just on my tool belt.
Yeah, it's clipped to the tool belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to lift it off his tool belt.
What is your intelligence score?
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, intelligence of a 16.
You lift it.
Oh, no.
You feel that it is attuned to someone else. Like the secrets or the power within are not available to you, but you are able to lift it.
How heavy can I carry things? Like, how heavy is it?
You can carry it. It's
Okay.
solidly built, but it's not like
Can
it's
I
not like
fly
a
with
weight.
it?
Yeah, you can fly with it.
Okay. In that case, I will immediately grab it and just kind of fly off into the dark without another word.
Okay. Aulen, the spell ends as the rod leaves 100-foot radius from you.
Holy cow. Okay. Aulen is going to waste no time. He's going to be as loud as he can, wake up everyone else. Get up, everyone, get up, everyone, please. Riley is under the control of an aboleth. Right? She has taken the rod. She's headed that way. We need to go now.
Which way?
The way I just pointed. That way.
Light me.
Alan casts light on the torch and tosses it to.
He would, except that the rod is more than 100 feet away.
Alan, frick.
Zop is gonna fly. Full speed.
Alan is gonna grab
Radford's gonna light a torch.
Radford. Yeah, Alan's gonna grab Radford by the hand and start pulling him the direction and just trying to dash to get to where it needs to go.
Okay, Riley, what is your fly speed?
The Weatling fly speed,
I think it's 60, right?
I think it was 60.
And we'll say because you're carrying the rod, you probably can't dash. It's not enough to stop you from flying, but it's still a pretty big, it's about as long as you are.
Right.
Okay, so you're moving 60 feet per round. Aulen, what's your dash speed?
80.
80. Okay, so you are going to catch up eventually, but there's a 100-foot lead.
Bear
You
with me
gain
1
20
second.
feet per round. It takes you 5 rounds to catch up.
My phone alarm's going off, so I'm just going to go.
Okay,
turn
yeah,
that
that's
off.
fine. Go turn that off. So you'll catch up in 5 rounds. Yes, Trevor has a hand up. What's up?
So the Wheatling fly speed is 60, so dashing would make it 120.
Yes, dashing would normally make it 120, except that Riley is carrying something, so that's why Riley can't.
But
For me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you could fly at 120. So then you'll catch up in 3 rounds. Radford, what's your pursuit speed?
I believe it. Hold on, let me do some math. 135.
135. Okay, so you actually will catch up slightly before. So you've got 2 rounds to catch up. So,
Oh, wait. Are they... Do I know they're catching up?
yeah, they're chasing you. Because they're
All right.
yelling and running and sprinting and stuff.
remember to bop. Remember to bop.
Twisted.
Oh, I'm gonna bop. All right.
Did you say twisted?
Wait.
Bam, bam, bam,
You've got 2 rounds basically to do whatever you're going to do to evade pursuit because you can hear them chasing you.
Right. Okay, that's what I'm looking through right now to see if I can. Okay. I think I have an idea. And I just need to double check. I'm going to cast Wind Wall behind me.
Ooh, But is the rod still active?
That's what I was just trying to check. Jake, do you remember if we said you had to be touching the rod or if we said you could switch the weave on and off? Because I know
I think eventually we decided you can switch the weave on and off.
Okay.
If that's something new for Aulen, because with Jeb he had to like be holding it.
Really? I thought partway through Jeb's experience we changed it.
So for Jeb's, he had like a mechanism in Big Boy where he would put it in contact with himself and not. Like that's how he would switch it on and off by the way he held it.
That's what I was trying to check.
Switching was essentially holding it or not holding it.
Yeah. I think that is the way that it still works. So unfortunately, Riley, the weave is not active because Aulen's not holding it.
Okay.
Riley learned something that day.
Or the aboleth learned something that day as it was controlling Riley.
As it was the aboleth learned something that day.
Because that still counts as a spell. All right, no. Riley instead, using the map she had drawn with the Tenkali, is going to try to lose them in some loops in the caves.
Okay.
Before heading to her destination.
Okay. So
hopefully that will just buy time.
Yeah, roll a stealth check.
Okay.
And Radford, who's in the
And
front,
with
is going to roll a
stealth-
perception check to try and catch the trail. These are just a straight opposed check from the two of you.
That is an 11.
Dang it, that's a 6.
Radford loses the trail. We'll say that. Well, okay. So Radford keeps running straight when you made a turn. The next person in line is going to be Zopf. So Zopf, go ahead and make a perception check to see if you notice. All of you are sprinting in fairly close proximity to each other. You know, like you're closing the gap. So you're all going to get a chance to figure it out. But if one of you gets it, whoever's behind them is going to be able to see that. So that's why I'm
17.
17. Okay. So Zopf is able to figure it out, and therefore Aulen is able to figure it out. Nope, we make a left turn here.
Aulen will yell out to Radford, "It's a left back here."
Dang it! And they course correct when possible.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll just lose a round and basically be even with Aulen. So you now have a 1 round lead. So you get one more action before they catch you to try and throw off pursuit.
Okay. I'm going to take a piece of paper out of my notebook, just rip it out. And I'm just going to start writing a message in there. And then drop it behind me.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what the message says, or are you waiting for them to pick it up and then you'll tell us?
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait if they pick it up.
So you drop a paper behind you and then you keep going. You're just following the trail you're on. Zopf is currently in the lead. Zopf, do you pick up the note or not pick up the note?
No, he's going after the sister.
Okay. Zopf is going to ignore the note. Aulen, you pull even with the note. Are you ignoring it or running?
Aulen will swipe it and attempt to you're on your phone while you're doing something else.
Yeah. So Cleo, give us the note, but in if you only comprehended about a third or half of it.
Okay. Trust me. Circle. Water. Necessary. Follow. No Bob.
Aulen is going to see if he can baton hand off the note back to Radford.
Sure, Radford, you can easily take it.
Yeah, and kind of yell out.
Easily takes it. He's like, "Wait, when in our relationship have you ever thought that I can read common?"
Put it in your pocket or something. I think. She says we need to trust her on this. However, it could easily be another aboleth trick. I don't either. And so
that's good.
Keep going.
Okay. I need a dexterity save from Riley.
Okay. Ooh.
This is the weather event the chat has just redeemed.
That's a 19.
Okay, Riley passes the dexterity save. I'll also need one from Zopf. The other two will not need to roll one. Riley, you round a corner, and there in front of you are a whole bunch of naturally occurring stalactites, and you have to suddenly like kind of weave and dodge out of the way to get through the field, but you're able to make your way through them. So it's kind of like a POV drone, swoosh, whoosh, whoosh kind of thing.
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. Zopf is hot on your tail and actually catches up with you this round. So Zopf, you have a round to basically you're close enough to attack or attempt to grapple or whatever you want to do.
Zop would like to attempt to grapple.
Okay.
Stay away, brother.
Because you're both flying and moving, make your acrobatics or well, you're both doing it, so just roll them normally. Acrobatics or athletics. Each of you can choose.
Okay.
15 for acrobatics.
A lot less for
All right.
acrobatics.
You successfully grapple Riley as she's flying away. The extra weight is enough that both of you are going to fall. Roll a dexterity save to try and make it so that Riley lands on the ground instead of you. Basically, one of you is going to take a couple points of fall damage here. A D4 from...
Can I roll?
I got a 16.
Well, I
okay.
guess he's grappling. So
Yeah,
never mind.
that's why. Yeah. So it is enough. You bop on the ground. You're going to take a D4 of damage and roll a wisdom save.
Okay.
That's crazy that the aboleth is smart enough to have someone write a note. Don't bop me, please.
It's only 1 hit point of damage that you took.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. When y'all said bop, Radford was like non-lethal damage to bring her to unconscious. He wasn't just thinking bop her to get her mind right. Nice.
Okay.
Get your mind right.
Wisdom. Okay. That's a 18.
18 is enough. You wake up. You're back.
All right. Quick question. Am I coherent to remember what happened, or do I just wake up?
You wake up. It is foggy, but it is not the impenetrable fog that it might be if you were perhaps in there for a long time. But it's almost like you're like a half remembered dream, and that you're starting to wake up because your first alarm went off, but you haven't hit the phone yet. So it's like you're in the dream, but you hear a song playing. It's like that.
Brother?
Radford comes skidding around the corner next.
Flying dragon, ice glacier kick, and he
What
like
is-
flies like flying kicks at her.
What's underneath
No,
of me?
Radford, she's back. She's normal now.
He tucks and rolls right at the last second.
Okay. Aulen comes around the corner just in
Why are
time
we
to
on the
see
ground?
Radford do like a very dexterous, graceful, like leaping somersault over the twins who seem to
Radford?
be kind of wrestling on the ground.
Did she get
Do
bopped?
you know what happened? Yeah, she's
Oh, okay.
Can you get off of me? I'm on something. It's very uncomfortable.
Yes, that would be the rod of intelligence. Alan will go and pick up the rod.
Why did you leave it on the floor?
You stole it, sister.
I would have never done such a thing.
You were mine.
Why are we here?
The aboleth's reach is further into these caves than I
What
would have
How?
expected.
I thought you said they only infect through water.
That perhaps it was the shimmering that you saw, Radford. That may have been something to do with the aboleth's psionic reach or something. I'm surprised that
I don't know.
they were able to.
Okay. Well, let's head back because I'm a little frazzled, and I don't feel good.
That is understandable. However, due to what we just experienced, I am now of the opinion that perhaps we need to forge through the caverns and not rest until we are outside of this mountain and ready to take the overland path.
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm with you on that one.
Aulen, you may
I-
choose whether to roll history, survival, or perception to find a way out of the tunnels.
Sir, beep boop, beep boop, bop bop. Let me think about this. History, survival, or perception?
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing history.
All right. The history of the tunnels. Be one with the tunnel. Live the tunnel.
Oh, but I didn't roll
These are
very well.
storied tunnels.
But I'm going to use the Rod of Intelligence that I recently got back to reroll
Nice.
that.
Yeah, you are. Nice.
That's a little bit better. That's a 14.
As luck would have it, the next corner you go around, you see a little glimmer of light and you feel a little puff of wind, and you're able to kind of abstract like, oh, if I hit this part this way, it's going to crumble and I can get to the surface. Like this is one of those little pockets that has eroded.
Well, it seems as though, Riley, in your attempted escape, you have brought us to an easier way out. And Alan will, I think what he'll
I
do...
use my stick.
Oh, you can use your stick? Okay.
Yeah, just poke
That
it.
works. Better than blunting my sword on it.
Stay a little, keep a little distance.
It works. You're able to, without
Hey, look at
injuring
that.
yourself, you're able to carve out a way. And it's a little steep, but it's not like a dangerous climb to get to the outside of the mountain. And because of your proximity to Nowood, you're already partially up the side. You know what I mean? As you emerge into a pretty crisp night air. You know, you're pretty high altitude at this point. Not quite dangerous to everyone, maybe to Aulen, who's wearing almost nothing. But you know, the stars are kind of glimmering above you. It's a cloudless sky. The wind is rushing down over you, right? This is the mountain where the wind originates that was rushing through the rusty jungle. And so it's kind of, scouring down the side before it pushes into the canopy of trees. And if you turn around, you can see along the canopy of the rusty jungle that you came through to get here. And way off in the distance, you can't see Hembleyhoo, but you can see the foothills, and Hembleyhoo is just past those. To the north, you can see little glimmers of stuff off in the distance that probably indicate a village with its torches lit for the night or whatever, like way off in the plains that are north of you. And then obviously if you turn around, the hulking shape of the scale of stars, because it projects upwards, you can see the top of it even from here, and the climb is ahead of you.
Well, I think if we're able to find some sort of outcropping here that shields us from the wind, this may be a more ideal spot for a rest and then the climb tomorrow. I think Cleo's muted again.
I'm sorry, I was playing with the mute button and does it work if I do this, or this? And I forgot that the last thing I left it on was mute. Does somebody else want to take watch this time?
Yes, I think that might be wise.
I'll take watch.
Okay, I'm gonna rest for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I'll take watch too.
So yeah, we'll find a spot that maybe shields from the wind a little bit, whether it's just rocks that are kind of jutting out or something, and go from there.
You find a little sheltered kind of, it's not hidden or anything, but it's at least got, there's kind of a little edge that sticks out for a pseudo roof and whatever, and you can kind of set up your bedrolls in there.
Cool.
Anything happen at do you have anything to actually do during your watch, Zopf or Radford? Your night passes uneventfully because we already had a complication this evening.
I was going to talk to Radford.
Okay, great. Do that. I'm going to step away for a second.
Hey, Radford.
Oh, hey.
Have you dealt with these aboleths for very long?
Not very long. I don't think I've seen one directly. But, the boss talks about them quite a bit. He's encountered them on a much more intimate level, unfortunately, in kind of the same vein as what happened to Riley tonight.
Yeah, just I've never seen that happen to her like that, and it worried me. I don't want it to happen again.
Yeah, that's kind of spooky when they can turn your friends on each other. but I wouldn't worry about it too much. The rest of us are pretty capable. It was a bit of a scare, but, we were there for Riley, and it worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, and you were there for her, and good thing, too, because I would have pummeled her into the ground.
I mean,
With love. I mean, it's true. It's true. But,
do you have any family?
oh, no. I mean, not other than my parents, but they're long dead. It's just me all by my lonesome. But I liked it.
Well,
I like the solitary life. It's good for clearing your head, and I enjoy the company of my own thoughts, and my tea,
I think with
and my
everything
shoes,
we've gone through together,
and my beer.
you could consider us family.
I mean, maybe eventually we'll get there. Depends on how often we die and how close we get in the meantime.
I hope none of us die.
I mean, yeah, me too. But that kind of has a way of pulling folks together, near-death experiences and all of that. But
Yeah.
I try not to get too close. I've had some, run-ins in the past, and I find it easier just to, just take care of myself.
Well, you've been doing a good job so far.
I mean, I'm here.
Exactly.
Yep.
The
And I
rest,
got good shoes.
the rest of your party sleeping soundly behind you. You can hear their breathing noises. In the wind, you hear again the sound of sails creaking. You hear, the sound of a dog barking somewhere. You hear the sound of, I don't know, probably the sound of like fences being dug into the ground and things like that, just kind of fluttering down.
I reach over and grab Riley's shoes.
What are you doing with those?
Oh, just fixing them up, tweaking them a little bit. See, there's a little. See how it's like the wear patterns are. It's a little low on this side.
Oh,
That's,
I see. Yeah.
She probably needs to work on her posture. It's probably from the way that her legs dangle when she flies. But as long as you maintain it and whatnot, you won't get a hole worn through. And he probably pulls out some strips of leather and
She also
pulls the
tends
tacks
to hunch
out.
when she's drawing.
Oh yeah. Which isn't bad. You just got to be mindful of it and
Yeah, of course.
make sure that you're just not doing it all the time. You want to even work out, and he kind of like flexes his muscles a little bit. You want to like work on them in groups, and never miss tail day.
Of course, never. For us, it's never miss wing day.
Yeah, I could see that. So, why are you out here? Why are you out here almost dying? You look like you are not fit for the jungle.
I mean, I grew up and lived in the forest, so this isn't too dissimilar from that. But our, one dude Bumblefoot was sort of the watcher over our village and everything. So that was part of it. And then my patron Andromeda also sent me to Four Guys as she had previous experience with them.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
kind of like two callings to the same thing.
So she like stays in contact with you. How do you guys talk?
Not regularly. I think that was just kind of more of a one-time thing. It's not frequent that we can actually speak.
Bradford.
How'd you get tangled up with her?
She like her do had some contact with each other, I think. And she visited the village in the past before way before the darkening and everything. I ended up going to the Feywilds to see her domain, pay homage to her. And yeah.
Bradford, as you're talking, you hear something on the night air. You're still hearing kind of the random sounds as you've been hearing. You hear something not unlike piano music, like just a little soft kind of ding, ding, ding kind of sound. And at the same time, you notice out of the corner of your eye, it almost looks like one of the stars is moving across the sky instead of sitting still. And as you pay a little more attention to it, you're like, also, this star is blue, like a deep blue, as opposed to that kind of like burnished blue that like, stars kind of look like where it kind of glows around the edges. This one's like a deep blue tone.
Do I know that star? Is it part of any constellations I'd be familiar with?
It is definitely not part of any constellations you've looked at in your long days of monking.
Would I notice it? With Radford looking?
Only if he tells
I
you.
can
Your passive
point it
perception's a 10. Yeah, okay. Then you sure. Now that you're both paying a little more attention to it, you also realize that it's closer than the sky. At first, it looks like it was moving really, really fast. But now you realize because the little sound of piano notes is getting louder and softer as it flies past, it's pretty close. It's doing laps around your little camp. And once you and Zop are both like tracking it, heads kind of moving in circles or whatever, it zooms in a straight line up the mountainside toward the scale.
You're seeing that too, Radford, right?
Radford looks down at his tea. Yeah. I may have put a little extra stuff, but I'm glad you're seeing it.
Am I tripping?
It is at this point, the sun is starting to like brighten the horizon, over the night. Like everyone's had their long rest. So if you want to wake the others and tell them, you would not cost them their rest.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna start cooking breakfast. You get the other guys up.
Sister, time to wake up.
You're muted.
You know what's funny is that I unmuted it for that joke, and then I immediately muted it and forgot I muted it.
And then Zop will flutter over to Aulen and just look and just rub his shake his head.
Yes. Yep, son. All right. Thank you.
Radford and I have something to report once you're both up and ready.
Yes. And Alan kind of shakes the sleep off and gets up. What, did anything occur last night?
Yeah, so we heard this faint piano music, and then one of the stars started moving and circling, and it got closer, and it looked like it was heading straight to the scale.
It was blue too. And it made a piano noise. Do I recognize the
Interesting.
song, DM?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't like a song. It was like individual notes, just like every now and then kind of floating along in its wake.
Well, you said it was blue and it was glowing?
Aulen, you don't need you don't need a roll to remember one of the more traumatic days of your life when you were underneath Tumbleweb fighting the Aboleth, and you and your party encountered a Willow Wells, a spirit that had not actually departed because it can't.
That. Alan kind of brightens up. That may be a good sign. That could be Dew's spirit guiding us. It went towards the scale.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
We need to follow.
Oh,
If you say so.
wow, this is a lot. All right. Let me put my shoe. Where are my shoes?
Radford was cleaning.
Yeah, here they go. They're all tip-top shape.
Oh.
Thank you, Radford. Is
yeah, here.
is
Coffee and
breakfast?
sausages.
Thank you. I was about to say, is breakfast able to be taken to go? I think we should follow.
Breakfast too. Oh, okay.
Radford hands everybody a little cup of coffee, a to-go cup, and a cup of sausages to nibble on.
I greatly
this is
appreciate that.
You did all
Well,
this while
when
I'm
you're out
lunch?
on your own, it's good to eat and be mobile. So I come prepared for that.
Wow. Okay.
You all get 4 temporary hit points for the day, too, for the next
Sweet.
8 hours.
I think maybe you should. I should travel with you more often. I could get used to
So
this.
just travel more often in general.
Well, we are traveling now, and we should begin traveling now. And Alan will start following
leads the way.
Yeah.
Okay, you lead the way to the top of the mountain. It takes most of the morning, so the sun is like, it's maybe 45 degrees above the horizon at this stage. And the side of the mountain is warm, but not scalding because you're up at a high enough altitude that although you're in still kind of a wasteland area, the altitude is cooling it off a little bit for you. And so the wind is actually quite pleasant at this stage. You hear no weird noises in it. As you approach the scale of stars, the scale of stars up close is truly something magnificent to behold. This is one of the first relics the gods ever created. It is a massive construction, 4 maybe 500 feet tall at its center, the huge base more of a cylinder than a triangle like a traditional set of scales might have. It's more like a huge tower with notches cut into the sides so that the beam of the scale can rest there. And one end of the scale rests on the ground, easily 300 feet in diameter. This big circular, it's more like a spoon than it is like a bowl. So it's very shallow and it has just a little bit of a concave curve to it. And then there's 500 feet of beam to the pillar, 500 feet further to the end that is stuck out over the top of the mountain, which from up here is obviously much bigger in person. They've cut at least 1,000 feet across for the diameter of this opening over the mountain. And so the scale sticks out almost exactly to the center of it. Like in a sort of primitive metaphorical way, it's almost like it's catching the light, as the sun rises, where the light kind of lands right in the bowl, as the scale is raised up. And the tower thing at its center actually does have a door in it, a huge stone door engraved deeply with the sigil of Zanir. The rest of it doesn't have any other markings or anything like that. It's worn smooth by wind or time, or maybe it was made this way, but it's like a perfectly polished, dark black stone on the top of an otherwise rusty red colored mountain. And so it would be a silhouette even in bright sunlight. And as you stand at the base of it, maybe sheltered in the shade under the beam, so the beam is kind of making a triangular roof over your head, and you've got the bowl to one side of you, and you've got the pillar or the central kind of fulcrum to the other side of you. You set down Dew's body, and a small blue kind of floating something, a willow wells, flits over gently and rests where Dew's heart would be and kind of pulses in place, flits up to where Dew's mouth is and kind of pulses there, and then flits into the ground and disappears from view.
Well, that
Was that Dude's spirit?
I believe that confirms that
The willow wells appears and does a little dance in the air before dropping back into the ground.
I believe that confirms that is Dew's spirit.
Do we take her body to the scale?
I believe so, and if I were not to be, if I were to theorize, my guess would be if we were able to open that door, it may lead down to where Dew's spirit is guiding us.
Yep, I concur.
Well, let us begin this journey. And Alan will pick up Dew's body again and head towards that big door.
Okay, Alan heads towards the big door. Dew's spirit, the willow wells, flits into one of the to-go coffee cups. It just floats there as if it's part of the, like it's, just keeping itself in position so that it looks like it's resting, like kind of swimming around in the top of the coffee cup.
Well, hello
just
there.
kind of floating there. Yeah, it's with Riley, sure. And you head over to the door. Like I said, big sigil of Zanir, no doorknob, no anything, just like a big section of door. And as you push on it, it spins around the center. So it, it makes 2 open doorways. Each of them is wide enough for a creature much larger than Aulen or Radford to step through. And so you all step into the room and you find yourselves in a room lit by a single chandelier hanging above a cylindrical 7-foot obelisk of plain stone. Arranged in a circular pattern around the obelisk are 24 enclosed clawfoot braziers, positioned so that their openings face the obelisk. The obelisk is marked with a brief inscription that wraps around its circumference. The floor of the chamber is marked with patterns and images carved into the stone, including a smiling sun, a frowning moon, and floral accents. I saw Wash had a hand up. What's up?
Braziers.
Okay.
Claw-footed braziers.
Gotcha.
Braziers or something else.
Oh, really? Oh, did I say braziers? Oh,
That's a very different
well, okay, whatever. Claw-footed braziers. That's kind of a scary image. I don't know. I said it at the table. Maybe it's happening. No, they can be braziers.
now.
Yeah, no, they can
That's
be
lore
braziers.
accurate.
Sure, brackets, if you will. Torch brackets resting on the ground. This is another moment that my little music bot would help us smooth over, but the music bot's broken. Anyway, that's the description of the room. That was the end of the description. So there's 24 braziers around the outside of the room. There's a big obelisk in the center, 7 feet tall. The floor of the chamber is marked with patterns and images carved into the stone, including a smiling sun, a frowning moon, and some floral accents.
What is the inscription on the obelisk?
The inscription on the obelisk is written in common, so Radford can't read it.
nuts.
Alan
it
will read it
says-
out loud.
It says, forward, backward, upside down, given time, same as the sound.
Forward, backward, upside down. Given time, same as the sound.
Forward, backward, upside down.
4 symbols again.
Maybe we should do at least somewhere for now.
Yeah, Alan will set do down somewhere in like a corner safely.
What are the symbols again, Josh?
There's a smiling sun, a frowning moon, and like a floral pattern, just all kind of inscribed in the ground.
Okay.
Can Aulen investigate for anything that seems like, I don't know, like that's meant to be moved or meant to be like something that like, you know, if this puzzle has something that it needs to be like contacted and moved to a certain, you know, that sort of thing, like levers, machines, anything like
so
that.
carved into the floor in front of each of the braziers is the numbers 1 through 24 in sequence. So the number 1 is at like the bottom of the circle closest to where you entered, like the door, and then the number 12 is opposite that. So, you know, it kind of loops around. And then inside each of them is like kindling, tinder, and enough wood to build a strong fire.
But before you move anything, can you just give me 5 more minutes? I'm sketching the layout.
Yes, of course.
All right, and
Forward, backward, upside down. What was the third line or the fourth line?
Forward, backward, upside down, given time, same as the sound.
Forward, backward, upside down. And Alan will look at the digits on the ground and try to think about like if any of those numbers is the same forwards, backwards, upside down.
I mean, the 0 is the same forward and backward and upside down.
There isn't a 0. There's the numbers 1 through 24 in sequence.
8 is the same. Forward, backwards, upside down.
This is correct.
At least the symbol. I guess the word is.
But given time, same as the sound.
There's 24 hours in a day.
Hmm.
An 8 turned on its side is an infinity symbol. At least it isn't draconic. Is it the same way in common?
Yes.
Yes, Radford.
Yes.
Oh, that's a nice little overlap.
Well, you know, some languages tend to borrow symbols or other things, depending on, you know, how that
Oh,
knowledge
so
was
what you're saying is
spread.
common was borrowed from Draconic. That's nice.
It might have been, and considering all of the natural languages in the world, it's actually one of the more recent languages. It wouldn't be unusual, though, of course, it could be a concept that was discovered and that Draconic simply didn't have a specific symbol for, and it could be the other way around. If you really think about it,
I appreciate this. I appreciate this in-depth information that you're giving about this. This is an area that my knowledge actually is somewhat limited in, although with the Rod of Intelligence, it is helpful that I can now comprehend any language. But linguistics is something I know little about. I appreciate also your commitment to do more research about it in the future as well.
I used to date a wow, I'm having a stroke.
Did you just say I used to date a linguini?
I did not
Well, you know
say
what they
that.
say,
I'll
opposites
have you
attract.
know, I stopped myself before I said it.
You said his name was Luigi. Is that what you said?
Nobody can speak tonight.
I listen. It's all right. It's fine.
I believe that the number 8 is as good of a try as any. It seems the most promising candidate unless anyone else has any compelling arguments.
Well, I was trying to go through my head and maybe figure out if any of the numbers on a normal clock would make a sound when read aloud. I mean, obviously, speaking of languages, obviously we make sounds when, saying numbers, but I meant if they sound similar to an onomatopoeia or something like that. But I couldn't think of anything. Oh, like boom or zap or any other things that we say to reference sounds. But I don't think any numbers could be misinterpreted as a sound when read aloud.
So does it look like these braziers need to be like lit or something?
Yeah,
like,
there's
fuel in them?
They have all the materials in them to be lit.
Okay. And there's one for each of the numbers?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
as
what I was
you're
saying
as you're
earlier.
kind of looking around and examining and whatever, one of you, in fact, I'm going to roll a d4. Okay, so Zop, you either trip or slip or stand weird, and you kind of like cut open a piece of something in your pack, and one of your inventory possessions has gone bad.
Oh no.
So I'm going to roll a d10, and we're going to figure out which of them has gone bad.
Okay.
The fourth thing listed in your inventory has gone bad, spoiled, been broken, whatever. As the complication we just read. Yes, chat. I'll put the riddle in chat.
Oh, brother, I do really hate it
My bag of sand.
when my sand goes bad.
Spills all over the ground.
Just as you've been flying around investigating things, you're just leaving this little trail of sand all around behind you.
Yes.
And DM, what was at the center of the room again?
It's a
Big
7-foot obelisk with the riddle, carved into it.
Okay. There's no like altar anywhere.
On the top of the obelisk is a sigil of Zinir, so this might sort of be an altar, but it's not an altar. Like, it hasn't been built in that shape or anything like that. It's just kind of a tall stone thing.
Okay.
7 feet tall.
So did we want to try lighting the 8-hour one? 8 hour.
If no one else is opposed, I believe it's worth a shot.
I mean, we might want to also. Well, I guess it's a 24-hour clock.
We don't know
Never
if it
mind.
necessarily is a clock, although it is an acute observation that it is laid out as if it were one.
Is there like a hole in the top of the ceiling where like way for light to get in that would be indicative of like a sundial?
The shape is very indicative of a sundial. There is no hole in the ceiling, so like the room is perfectly dark.
When we opened it, where's the shadow cast?
The shadow is cast around, like, so there's the big door in the center, so it kind of makes two slanting shadows, so it doesn't land on a number or anything like that. But it would be, so you're facing 1, so whatever's opposite that would be 12. So it's, on either side of the 12, basically.
Okay. It does appear that this is very resembling of a sundial clock.
Well, let's light the fire first before I say another word and mispronounce it and say the incorrect word.
Sorry.
And see if that casts maybe a shadow or light or reveals something.
Perhaps. Let us try it. And so Aulen will go and light the fire at the 8th one.
Okay, so you light the fire. It roars up immediately. There's plenty of kindling and everything. It's not difficult to do. The fire casts a very straight line shadow using the obelisk opposite the 8. So whatever that would be. Oh no. Opposite 8 would be 16. That's how numbers work. It casts a shadow on the 16 and nothing else happens, but there is now a shadow over the 16.
What has the willow wells done during this process?
So far, it's been sitting still, but when you light the fire, it hops up out of the cup and it goes back to the obelisk and swirls around the riddle a bunch of times before sitting back down in the coffee cup.
Okay.
I just would like to reference that 16 is not opposite of 8.
Oh, okay. What is it?
I believe it's 20.
Okay.
Either way. Aulen will wait a moment, and then if nothing happens, he'll investigate where the shadow is lying from 8, and then if nothing happens there, then he'll extinguish the fire.
Okay. Fire is extinguished, and the room is plunged back into relative darkness again. The 2 slashes of light from outside, obviously, are still
I don't think that 8 was the answer there. Let us think more on this riddle. Forward, backward, upside down, given time, same is the sound. 1.
Same is
2,
the sound or same as the sound?
Same
is the sound.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aulen will just keep these mentally at least.
Same is the sound. So the sound is the same forward, backward, and upside down.
Given time, though.
So over time, the sound changes?
Or it might be that we have to give the correct time.
Or it might be saying that it being in relation to time. Maybe like that's just a clue for it being time.
I've had this revelation. Maybe this corner of my mind I like to call it chat made me think of perhaps it's about the present tense of the word.
Well, if it's referring to a number, numbers don't have tenses. They're not verbs.
But maybe there's a...
I don't know. I've sixed before.
You could say you've
And
timed...
I definitely fived.
You've timed something? Or you time it? I mean, you can use time as a verb.
Indeed. DM, can I make a religion check to
Sure.
see if I can glean any information about that time when we were back in Hembleyhoo and I was talking with Scooby-Doo, what's her name, about Zanir.
Mm-hmm.
In our conversation with her, like, Zanir is a god of order. Could I make a religion check to try and make some sort of connection with time and like the flow of time in Zanir?
Sure.
Oh, this does kind
Well-
of remind me.
I'm rolling like Aulen today.
Yeah, you don't remember anything new.
Rolling like Aulen? Is that like you have the same vibe? Is that how you would say it?
I don't know. My noodle's kind of cooked.
That is all right. My
Too
noodle
much sausage.
feels a bit cooked
Normally
as
what
well.
you do with noodles, right? Is cook them?
What about one?
Exactly.
What about the
That's
number
what my
one?
noodle's kind of like.
The number one can be often drawn as a line, and Alan will look at the number one in this circle. Is it just drawn as a straight line?
No, it's a like a with the little angled
Like
line on
Times
top.
New Roman.
Yeah. Yeah, let's say it's all written in Times New Roman. All the numbers. Comet is officially written in Times New Roman in the world of Urada. That's canon now.
Oh dear.
Well, that kind of destroys my point, I guess. If it was drawn a certain way, then you could argue that the symbol always looks the same: forward, backward,
Well-
upside down.
Forward, it looks like a 1. Backward, it looks like a 7. And upside down, I think perhaps you're right, because you're going to have to take the L on this one.
Have an inspiration. That was good. Well executed.
It's something about order and balance. Zanir is very structured, symmetrical.
If we were looking for symmetry, the number 11 would fit that.
What if it's a symmetry to the shadows that are cast? What if we light multiples?
What if, like,
What if we cast a shadow forward and backwards? Or something like that.
Well, we could light a fire at 8 and then its counterpoint is at 20. I'm not sure if that would... Something... I have the hunch that maybe that's not what we're looking... No, steer me.
What's
excuse
this?
me.
What's Zanir's symbol look like? What's his holy
Sausage
symbol look
almost
like?
came back up.
Riley, you have a holy symbol of Zanir, yeah?
Well, I have multiple holy symbols, but
I'm gonna dig it out of my pack. What does it look like?
I'm working on it. I didn't remember either. A vertical line representing the self with 3 crossed lines intersecting a circle at the base. So it almost looks like a key sticking up if the key were like the lines went the whole way across instead of just sticking out to one side.
I'm not sure how it's related though.
I was just curious if it would be something that we could recreate with these lights, but it seems to be a little...
Given enough
Off-centered.
obstacles and lighting, and I'm sure we could attempt to do it, but I don't think it would be very helpful.
hey Josh.
Yeah.
Can I make like an investigation or perception to see if there's anything else that we haven't seen yet?
Like just to get basically a hint.
Or if there's anything else.
Josh, can I roll to solve the puzzle?
No.
You cannot roll to solve the puzzle.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
You don't need to roll. Well, no, there's nothing in the room to see. So
Okay.
no. There's nothing to roll for. So I'm not going to make you roll and then suffer.
Okay, that's fine.
Is there any like holes in the ceiling?
Nope.
Are there burn remains? like
Nope.
charred marks in the torches
Nope.
or the braziers?
Bear with
No.
me 1 second.
And if you
gonna-
were to examine with like a survival check type thing, you might determine that this has been around for maybe
Long time.
3 years and 1 month. It seems like maybe is when this was established, or maybe even less than that, maybe 3 years and 1 week.
I'm gonna fly back through the door and then look at the scales from outside. Could you re-describe them for me?
Yeah, huge stone pillar in the center.
Right.
1,000-foot beam resting across it, sticking up over the opening of the mountain. Big 300-foot diameter, like kind of spoon concave scales at each end. Okay. And the whole thing is like onyx black, even though the mountain is rusty red. So it always looks like a silhouette. As you're outside of it, kind of like examining from another side, you also see Statera Prospera engraved in one side, which is a Xenian proverb. It means balance is prosperity.
Okay. Is it currently balanced right now?
No, it's sticking up over the hole in the mountain, but you're pretty confident that doesn't have anything to do with the riddle.
Okay. What time would it look like the sun is resting in the scale?
Noon.
From our perspective?
Yeah,
at
from
noon?
where you are right next to it. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna fly back inside.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe 12. Maybe we have to line it up with when the sun's in the scale, and from the perspective of being right outside of it, that would be at noon. I'm not sure if that helps.
That could be it, or I've been thinking perhaps if Zanir values balance, perhaps I like the idea of lighting 2 fires, perhaps 1 fire on each side of the pillars, like left to right.
All right.
We could try that.
Do you have anything to tell us, Do?
I'm looking at the cup.
The cup seems to float towards that part of the back of your mind that you call the chat.
Yeah.
Perhaps, actually, the more that I think about it, the more that I really think that your noon idea is quite apt.
No, I don't think it is. It's too close to 8. It's got to be something else.
Radford's like in Draconic, it's not spelled that way. So
Yeah, like in Draconic, it's like Skulag. That's like, would that be like Glagusk? That's nothing.
I appreciate that. However, as I'm sure Riley was about to point out, as she's probably discovered it already, noon backwards in common is noon. And
Wow,
Aulen
how'd you
will-
read my
weird.
mind like that?
I saw that you were already motioning to start lighting the fire on
mean-
that side, so
That's straight from the part of my mind I call the chat.
so yeah, Aulen will help Riley light the fire to put the
This
shadow
better
at
not be
noon.
it.
you
This better not be it.
you light the fire at 1, which is opposite to 12. The shadow lands on the 12, and there is a soft rumbling as a small trap door slides open right
it.
behind that flame that you've made. So at 1, directly behind the 1, there is now a small trap door in the ground.
Quick question.
Yep.
This is languageist.
Jake,
Yeah.
is that the intention?
What?
Did we? I misunderstood. I thought we were gonna light 12.
No, we were gonna light 1 so that it lands on 12,
Oh, okay.
like the sundial whole aspect.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep. All right, we're doing it. Yeah, Aulen will pick up Dew's body, and well, I believe that this is the path that we need to Take.
There's
Thank you.
there's not
dude.
even really a path. You open it and there's a small hatch there in the ground and a cloth wrapped package with a note on top of it.
Ooh, I called
This
dibs.
better not be in common.
And I fly forward and read the note.
Okay. You read the note. It is a note from Dew Bumblefoot. It is a note explaining that Dew was approached by Shrub along with the other avatars necessary for the cataclysmic ritual, but they didn't believe Shrub. And Dew has realized, perhaps before any of the others, that Shrub was right and has set about reclaiming the components for the cataclysmic ritual. But she is confident that she is pursued. And so she has hidden her progress here along with the remaining components of the spell in order that if she should fall, the spell can still be cast by the other avatars. And so as you unwrap the cloth, you see there's a really, I mean, they've been here for a while. So it's like a really dusty vial containing something. And there is a fragment of blacker than black stone that are both sitting in there. The letter explains that in order to cast the spell, the cataclysmic ritual, you need some material components, you need some somatic components, and you need some verbal components. The material components are here. There's a vial containing the venom of a spider. There's a fragment of stone from Lodin's crater that has only ever been exposed to moonlight. And the remaining missing piece is a frozen dragon's tear. So Dew initially left Oat to find the components, but felt she was going to be caught. And she also said there are somatic components. The somatic components of the spell, once the area has been consecrated, the one needs to conduct the primordial stillness, which is an ancient meditation of Kelnor, practiced by, a number of monks. It's not like a big secret. Radford, it was even practiced in like your commune where you were a monk. Probably Fox has even seen it. It's like a ages old thing that people probably just didn't realize the significance of. And it needs to be practiced within an arcane circle of a specific type that Aulen is confident he can make. And lastly, there are verbal components, or really it's just auditory components, a certain frequency that is easiest to reproduce with the saxophone. Dew has hidden a reed that makes it easier for a saxophonist to produce this frequency among the components that are in the bag.
How convenient.
Yeah, how convenient. And those are the things that are hidden there. The note also says that she has hidden the things here at the scale of stars because if Dew should die, then the scale of stars is a good way to explain to Zanir quickly what has happened. She highlights that the last time the scale of stars was tipped, it brought 100 years of Zanir's wrath for seemingly no reason. And she ends the note saying, in my opinion, the world might actually benefit from 100 years of Xenian wrath. And then it's signed in her flowing script. And that is the conclusion of the note.
So, wow, Dew was very good on documentation. You mentioned
is very important.
the ritual that you've been working towards. I mean, it details it very descriptively, all here.
This is extremely important. Yes,
If
we must
we
take
didn't-
very good care of it.
Need the other avatars, I'd say we could do it right now.
That's a very powerful thing, I think, and I don't think we could just do it.
Well, I know, but I'm excited.
It's an
brother.
expression being used to illustrate how well Dew kept track of what needed to be done
Thank
and
you,
also
Aulen.
explained it in the note. Yes, I understand what you were trying to do.
So, but do we perhaps cover our tracks a bit and place these back where we found them? Because this seemed like a very safe spot considering the amount of time that has passed and no one else has discovered it.
Well,
I feel like coming back here is going to be
yes, it was already an extremely tough journey to get here. I don't disagree that these components need to be kept somewhere safe, and that simply traveling with them just on our person, well, it may not be a good long-term solution, but I believe that there can be options for us as far as taking them somewhere safe.
That box can't be opened outside.
Yes.
Yeah, moonlight.
That's the other thing I was thinking of, is that if we move this, we risk showing sunlight to this rock. I mean, should it the box break or fall? I mean, this is very old.
We can wrap it in like a blanket or something.
Yeah, to be clear, it is wrapped in a cloth inside the box. So there's an extra layer of protection there. Yeah.
I
I
just
just think we should take it with us because getting back here is probably going to be quite challenging, and we can give it to like one of the other avatars who's been saved. or
well,
something.
think about it. I agree with you that it was challenging to get here, but we now know the path, and furthermore, that's a good thing. We don't want it to be easy to get people to get their hands on these materials. And if they fall into the wrong hands, or even worse, just negligent hands,
Alan, how many things are left to recover? Like, how close are we for you to completing this spell?
Well, we need... to Alan's knowledge, we need 4 more parts of the rod, right?
No, you've heard the news from the crew in Stainless that they stole 3 rods.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So to Aulen's knowledge, you need to find the Rod of Luck, and you now know you need a Frozen Dragon's Tear, and you need
K.
And you need K.
Okay. So,
And I mean, technically, you have to forge the Rod of 7 parts back together, but
yeah, Alan will say
that
those
part
things, and
Laertes
also
can
he'll retroactively retcon his theorizing earlier around the campfire to like, oh yes, when we found the rods and killed, and when Fox's crew did all these good things, that is probably when that stuff,
Can I use
that's
an
probably
oceans
coincides.
to change my reaction. Yeah.
Does Aulen know that Jeb has been found?
yes.
Oh, a lot of Alan's sad demeanor this whole arc has been because of that. Well, he's not. He's sad because of other reasons probably now. Anyways, I've been role playing in my head completely wrong for like 7 sessions.
It sounds like you're pretty close to it. I feel like we should.
Jake, you've been role-playing wrong for 7 sessions, but at least you didn't pronounce braziers wrong. Okay.
So, hear me out. What if perhaps we find just a more secure means of transporting it before we just... Given the amount of detail here and the amount of care put into this, I just feel it's very risky to just, without a plan of how to take care of these things and transport them, to just run off back into the jungle with it.
I do see your point, and now that you're correct in the fact that now that we know the path, we can document this way directly back to someone to retrieve this when it comes
If
time.
we put these things in a pack, don't take them out. No one will know we have them, so no one will know.
I think chat wants you
put
to
'em in
Bob
my
Riley
pack.
again.
I'm
I pick up
just
the box
saying.
and I put it in my pack.
Okay.
Okay, but think about it. Look at my
Oh, I
brother's
thought
pack.
about it.
Look at how much sand he has dropped. What if that was the contents of the ritual?
What do you want to do, boss?
I
Should I
believe
hang on to it?
I believe that you should hang on to it, and Riley, I really understand where you're coming from, and I really appreciate your viewpoint on this. However, I think that the time to use these components is faster than we wish, and so I think it will be more convenient for us to take these components, take them to a secure location, for instance, back in Gaim or in Udril, somewhere that we know someone trustworthy can guard them, and then from there continue on our quest and retrieve these documents from a secure location that we are more comfortable with.
You're the boss, so it's your decision. I'm just saying I think it's very risky considering the amount of progress you and your team have made over the years, and the amount of effort other people have put into this to risk carrying it for a couple days across the desert when we know our luck. All right? At least when I'm with you guys, it seems bad luck has hit us at every turn. And while we have made it through, all it takes is for somebody to drop and have that potion break open, or for the box to break in a combat scenario and the rock to roll out of its cloth.
I walk up to Riley and put a hand on her shoulder. It's not bad luck. It's opposition. And we're going to be against it until this is all over.
Well, that's worse because opposition's sentient.
It is
What would-
over. A voice booms from the door as a silhouette darkens the light that's coming through. You all turn to look, and the projected image of an aboleth floats there in the air, looking towards you, holding the components of the cataclysmic ritual. And then, with a great whoosh of wings and a smashing noise, a dragonelle lands on the image and disperses it. The dragonelle like snorts a little bit, and Elaine Mollusk hops off the back of it and goes, "Sorry, was I interrupting something?"
What is happening?
Who are you?
Radford, do you still have the components?
Hi.
Yep, they're right here.
Elaine, did you see the projection of the aboleth just now?
Oh, is that what that was?
Do you mind if we bop you for safety?
She holds out a hand.
Alan will bop her.
She takes it and seems completely undisturbed, unbothered, whatever. She says, I was actually sent with news from Central Urida, but it seems convenient that I've arrived now. Should we leave?
Let's leave at this moment. Yes, please.
Yeah.
This, you know what? Yes, I agree. All of a sudden, this looks a lot safer than
go.
traveling through the jungle in the desert.
Great. And she hops back up on the Dragonelle with its Four Guys Ventures and Vibes bandana tied around one of its massive Dragonelle legs. The rest of you climb up behind her. The Dragonelle appears to have developed a harness of some kind. It's a like a net almost that's kind of wrapped around the side, so you can hang onto the net to climb up. And then there are little like buckle points, so you can kind of like clip a buckle onto it and strap the buckle around your waist or whatever, so you don't fall off the Dragonelle.
As Alan straps on, sorry, go ahead.
Can I just hide in your pack a little bit?
Nope.
I'm a little worried about my
And
wings.
Radford grabs one of the buckles and like loops it around her and like clips it on. If you fall off, you can fly.
I'm worried about my wings. They're very thin, and
They'll be fine, sister.
you say that, but we fly normally at a much slower speed than this. I don't want my wings being torn off.
Good wing day, sister.
The freckled face of a gnome woman with kind of like a little round nose appears directly in front of yours, like she was climbing down to you. So she just appears right there. And Elaine Mollusk says, "Not to worry, we have something for the smaller folk." And she pulls out a different kind of harness and clips it. And you can see that it's actually meant to like slide over your wings. So there's like a whole section of the harness that's like hollowed out for wings.
Wow, this is happening very fast.
If you think
What
this is
I-
fast, just wait till we take off. And then she
No,
climbs
please.
back up and she goes,
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
she holds up her finger and she just snaps
dear.
once, and the Dragonelle, boom, huge wings out to either side, boosh, lifts up in the air and launches itself into the sky.
In the air, probably when he can't really be heard very well because of all of the whipping air and everything, Alan's going to go, "Is there a particular reason why we didn't fly one of these two here?"
Elena either doesn't hear you or ignores you. As you fly higher in the sky. Once you are up to a decent enough height that you can be fairly confident the projection of the aboleth won't reach you here, the Dragonelle begins kind of coasting over some of the hot air currents coming off of the Southlands desert. And Elaine Mollusk takes the opportunity to talk to you. Things have been progressing quickly in Central Urida, and I have some news that I thought I should maybe bring in your direction, because as I said, things are progressing quickly. So I was sent by Laredith to let you know first that she has finished construction of an apparatus that she believes will allow her to rejoin the 7 pieces of the Rod of 7 Parts together, should we be able to find them. She and Randy have been working hard on it since you left, and even since before you left, really. And they couldn't get it to work, but then I showed up and I fixed it. Just kidding. She's an avatar of OR, and they got it working just fine without me. But I'd like to take some of the credit. So that's one thing. That's the good news I'm supposed to bring you. Unfortunately, everything else I have for you is bad news. First, if you'll look to your right, and she begins like miming a tour guide. If you look to your right, you'll see an army, and you sure can see like over the plains of Eastern Urada, there is a huge army. The army stretches out far enough back that you cannot see the end of it. And the behind it and dotted around are those lights you saw in the night that you thought were like villages lit by torchlight. You can now see from up here that they are various holy sites and shrines that have been destroyed and are now this massive bonfire over each one. An army similar to this has also progressed across most of Western Urada. The reason I was sent to fetch you is that they seem to have figured out that Thraxenhaus domain is where the other avatars are being hidden, and they are now marching in that direction.
And that is also the direction we are going to repair an airship.
Yeah, that is convenient because that is where the problems, I think, will be next. I also have news from she pulls up a little sheet of paper where she has all these notes she's been reading to you, but you can see these are not like Dew's notes. These are like really hastily, like chicken scratch scrawled notes that she was probably writing as she mounted the Dragonelle to fly out to you. It's like trying to read it. She like pulls out a little set of reading glasses and puts them on and squints at it. These don't really help. She takes them off and tosses them off the side of the Dragonelle. A gunner reports that the armies of Udril have had to evacuate the kingdom. Udril itself has fallen, but thanks to your timely efforts in Gaim, they were able to arrange for asylum there. And so the king of Udril and most of his clansmen and countrymen have been ferried there by, amazingly enough, a team of caterers who are from the draconic state of Fladena. They developed these harnesses, and she points down to the net thing, so that they can take lots of refugees on one dragon's back. So they've been coordinating a sort of evacuation from there. Gaim is getting very full, by the way. The queen is not pleased. And she like rolls the paper back up. Let's see if there's anything else I need to share with you. Nope, I think that's all of it.
I don't mean to change the subject, but what about the, not to be rude, but the corpse we're dragging?
Corpse? Who died?
Do.
Oh no. She looks down and like finally like takes in the fact that you're carrying the corpse of Do Bumblefoot. But if she's dead, don't you need her to get the components of your ritual?
She did leave stuff behind.
We have those. I just.
Radford has them secured.
Are we able to slow down? I don't like
Sister,
this.
it's fine.
I don't think slowing down would be wise at this point in time. But when we can stop in Gaim, and I'm sure they will take care of her.
Yes,
They're a
that
respectful,
will be
civilized folk in Gaim. Much as I hate to say it, I mean, we in Tumbleweb innovate faster, but you know.
We believe, or we hope that
Andromeda.
You're like,
we love
what
Discord
news from
delay.
the north?
And we hope that the components, perhaps we can leave the components in the notes of the spell with Laredith, and they will be safe with her as well in Gaim.
Yes, that is a good idea. Oh, this is important. Laredith told me to tell you that the Aboleths don't know about the cataclysmic ritual because it's never been used before, and it was discovered in this era, which the Aboleths were banned from until they forced their way in. So it is critical that we not give away the ritual that we're trying to complete to the Aboleths.
What do they know of the, that is something I will discuss with Laredith. What do they know of the Rod of Seven Parts, and do they know,
the Rod of Seven Parts has been used to ban them from every existence in the past, apparently.
But they don't know about this specific ritual.
Right.
They know about these components, though.
They know
No,
you
they-
have some components. You didn't say
Yes.
what the ritual was, did you? While that
No.
thing was
There was-
standing there.
It was too fast, and they wouldn't have
great.
been able to get as good of a look.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
I want to talk to the Dragonelle.
Okay.
Sir, can you fly like a little smoother? I don't like when other things are flying me specifically, and I'm not flying. And you're very good at what you're doing. I would feel a little safer if you were a little smoother.
Radford and Zopf both hear like these weird screeching sounds, but Aulen can understand perfectly.
Aulen will like can does it enable Aulen to speak with animals back to the
No. You
to
can
the
only comprehend
Dragonelle?
the languages.
Okay, then Aulen will just say to Riley, I believe that is a bit rude to insult the creature that is ferrying you across its method of doing so. I
I
think
am not
that
trying.
speed is of the utmost
The
importance here.
Dragonelle turns its big long neck kind of swings around so that it's like face to face with Riley for a second, and it veers a little bit to the side, like texting and driving or whatever. Like it's not looking where it's going, veers a little bit to the side as it leans back to look at you, but it has this big dopey grin on its face, and it goes, "Don't worry," and it gives you this huge like sloppy dragon lick, like. And then it turns back around, so you're now soaking in your harness. It turns back around, course corrects, and then keeps flying at the
looks
same
cold.
speed.
Alan's sister's just like scared of heights.
I'm not scared of heights. I am specifically scared of not being in control when in heights. We have wings for
You
a
can
reason.
fly.
Yes.
All of a sudden, the Dragonelle folds its wings in close to its body, tucks its head,
Starts
and
diving.
dives.
No.
Beneath you, you can see a different mountain range. This one, the more like normal green and brown colors of Central Urada, getting much larger, much faster. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Here comes the Dragonelle. As it flies down towards the mountain range, you can see that it is not slowing. It doesn't appear to be coming in for a stop.
Okay,
Instead,
okay, I
the
gotta take
Dragonelle
this harness off.
plunges through what was once a reservoir, one of the reservoirs up in the mountains. It has been emptied out to create an entry and exit, basically ramp for Dragonelles. And so the Dragonelle just straight into Gaim, past the 1100 feet of aqueduct like tiers with the pendants hanging from each one, and the bridges and the pillars are everywhere, and all the art and the shiny lights in every direction, and the mostly darkness with the shafts of light coming down. And then the Dragonelle slams its wings out and comes to an incredibly controlled stop in front of a little teeny myconid with a bolt sticking out of one side of its little mouth and a beret cap on. And as the Dragonelle comes to a stop, the myconid pulls a little bolt out of its mouth, tosses it on the ground, floats a spore up, and all of you hear it go, "That was better. Good flight." Jess says, "Hello, it is you. Welcome back." I have
getting
been
this harness
experimenting with vocal inflections.
That's very awesome. Y'all handle this.
I imagine Riley, it's a very simple harness to put on and off, but in like her haste to get out, it's like she's unbuttoning it in all the wrong directions.
Yes.
So she's like all tied up and falling over herself.
And just like lift it off.
Thank you, brother.
Riley
I would
is-
just like to say that Zoom, 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 Here Comes the Dragonelle is Jeb's first children's book that he's going to publish.
Aulen will get off the harness and approach and kneel down and actually give like a hug. Like it is good to see you.
Yeah, it gives you like the teeniest little hug that doesn't reach the whole way around your muscly barbarian neck. It like just like a little bit around and hugs you back. It says, "Everything will be okay. Have
Yes.
a burrito." And the poor guy's burrito cart is right behind him.
I don't mean to dampen the spirits, but brother, as you may recall, we signed a contract to help you rescue Do. I believe we have now completed that contract, and I was wondering what you would want to do from here on.
Well,
Well, I know unless there's a use for Duke's body, I think we should definitely bring it back to the city to be memorialized.
yes, I that will all take care of itself, or we will take care of that. But as for you two, I believe you both showed incredible bravery and showed also that you have unique talents that here at Four Guys we haven't used yet. So if either of you wanted to stay on as either a record keeper or an artist or any of those things, we would have use for you.
I mean,
Well,
if you don't have
brother,
a record go
brother,
already, you definitely
brother,
have to.
brother, stop. Before my brother accepts something without thinking, we're going to have to talk about payment and, of course, accommodations, and other things. I think we should work this out. As much as you're trying to save the world, if you do save the world, I would like to make sure that I'm not homeless afterwards.
Yes, we will make sure of
Bradford.
that.
Radford's going to walk up to Zoth and Zop and Riley.
Z-Dog.
Yep. And just like go down on a knee just to kind of get close to their level.
Oh, hello.
Riley,
Yes.
Dog. You need to be careful. No matter if you stay or go, you've been seen, which means you've been marked. And those two armies are going to be looking for you, and I'm sorry. That wasn't supposed to be in the cards. We were just supposed to rescue and get out. But you needed to make this next move very well thought out and very carefully. Because whether you want to be on one side or the other, you are on a side. And the other side, those Abelisks, they will pursue you. They will do anything to extract any information out of you until you look like her. And he points over to Du's body.
Du's body, which is being carefully covered by cloaks from members of the Gemstone Guardians who have, obviously come to see Aulen return and whatever, and kind of escort him to explain his adventures to the Queen and, keep everyone updated on events. And they've seen Du and have, covered her and everything. So,
Boss. And he goes over to, oh yeah, right. Actually, other boss. And he goes over to
Oh, Aulen
Yes,
will
Radford?
like give kind of a hand motion and then follow the Gemstone Guardians.
We need to bring Du back to life. Do we have enough money in the coffers for a diamond? Now that we have magic back, maybe that cleric that tried to help with Southcug could do something here.
it is possible. I will meet with Joffrey and see if we can arrange for a purchase.
Thank you.
Sister, of course, we'll go through the contract. Like, that's literally my job, basically. But I think this is bigger than us.
I
And
agree. I just don't. Listen. If you think about it, we've been forced into this position, whether we like it or not. As Radford just clearly explained, we really don't have a choice in the matter. If we did, and I don't think they really outlined that in the contract beforehand, that we would be against armies. And
Listen,
such.
Chuckle Cheeks, your hand was forced, but it wasn't by us.
It's nothing against you. I just want to secure what little bit of future I can, and
Let's
I'd like to
list I'm
talk it
hearing
over.
about somebody not trusting my contracts.
Zal from services walks up. Zal's got this sort of like overworked, businessy look in her face. This is the face that has told 100,000 people they're wrong and didn't mind. She's got a cigar sticking out of the side of her mouth, a real one, not a bolt like uses. She walks up and goes, I ain't never made a bad contract in my life. Come over here. I'll show you all the paperwork. We'll take care of it.
Perfect. You're exactly what I wanted to talk to.
Yeah. I'm the one who does stuff around here. These guys, they think about things. I go do things. Come on. And she leads you away to where, there's like a little writing desk or something. Probably back in like a new base of operations for 4 guys. It's not here on the landing pad for the Dragonel.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, all they could afford was this landing pad, and so they had to like put their desk on it and everything.
No, this landing pad has
Radford's
been...
going to catch up to Aulen.
Okay. Radford catches up to Aulen just as he is being led into one of the barracks of the Gemstone Guardians. You're down on the clockwork tier of Gaim. And inside you meet up with the I think it was the Gold Knight, who you connected with before. So you see him again and he says, yes, I shall lead you into the palace. And he leads you past a sneering Wigbert and into the palace, down through kind of like the hidden areas and into the bunker where Larodith is.
You would think after saving the city that Wigbert would like us more, but either way, it doesn't matter.
Wigbert doesn't like anybody, probably. And kind of leaves you with Larodith to connect over your adventure and explain what's happened. The queen comes down, so you kind of have a chance to update her on events, and to begin talking about your next steps. Larodith fully agrees with Aulen that like the next step has to be getting to Thraxenhaus domain and protecting the other avatars who are there, but also following Radford's lead on trying to find Kay with the airship. And putting together the next steps as far as the ritual.
Okay.
What was your question? Sorry.
What do we know of Fox and Jeb? Have they returned?
They've not returned. There haven't
Is
even
FP
been...
back?
You tell me, Wash.
I think FP would have tried to stay with them with Fox and Jeb because he was a part of the company.
Okay. So FP stayed with them. So only Gunnar has come back then from that adventure. Gunnar came back with the catering dragons. And Bruiser, you're right. The catering dragons who have been leading the evacuation and kind of coordinating that event. No, there's not been any word of what's happened to them, but there have been a number of strange events reported by our spies in the West, by Queen Salen's spies in the West, that we believe could be connected to them, including the most recent, which is the spontaneous eruption of a mild explosive in the middle of a war camp. We don't really know for certain that that's them, but it seems likely. And she kind of straightens her glasses and looks towards the two of you. But wasn't Fox perhaps not interested in continuing the adventure? Although, I mean, to steal 3 rods and then not involve himself in the adventure is kind of selfish.
Well,
Fox has gone AWOL.
I believe that if Jeb is with Fox, then they'll find their way to us, or we'll find our way to them. It's kind of a matter of fate, I think.
Unfortunately, most of the West has fallen. The city of Tumbleweb is occupied. The tunnels have been gone through. Aspesh was with the Aboleths from the start, and there was a huge explosion, obviously, as Fox and Jeb left Stainless. We believe that the armies have probably made their way into that part of Central Urda as well. We may be standing in the last free nation state in Urda right now. So that's happening.
Well, we must move quickly then.
I agree.
And this is out of character. I assume the 3 rods got brought back with Bruiser and Gunnar then.
No, the 3 rods are with Fox and Jeb.
Oh, then yes, I truly believe we must find our way back to them. But I think that may happen sooner than we think if we are all forced to Thraxenhaus domain.
Is there anything else you needed tonight? You must need some rest before leaving, right?
Sleep.
Places have been prepared for you and your companions whenever they're through their meeting with Zal. And I will see you in the morning. And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session comes to a close.